Avital here. In this episode, Benji and Stephen recommend picking up Stephen King's On Writing, which I have since done. In this episode, we also discuss whether or not Stephen King is an atheist, and I'd like to point out, since I've now picked up the book, Stephen King actually states, "And while I believe in God, I have no use for organized religion." So there you go. Enjoy the episode.
We have opposing tastes.
Oh, that's interesting.
We really have
That's gonna
opposite
Which
tastes.
will come out about this movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Any
Wow.
guesses as to which one of us liked it more?
Well,
I'm gonna
we
get-
got a text from you last night, so
Yes.
What did I say?
Oh.
it said, and I quote. Well, maybe should we start the podcast?
He's right behind you.
Hi, I'm Avital.
Are you gonna
Ash?
say-
She's
yeah.
looking at me like I have
You
to say my
say-
full name.
Well, you always
Fine.
say it.
I'm Avital Ash.
I'm Jessica Richards.
And this is...
He's right behind you.
Today, we have two guests.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This is our first time with two guests.
Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
Everyone remembers
Wow.
their first time with
Wow.
two.
Surround sound.
Surround sound.
You can
Stereo,
tell they work
probably.
together.
Stereo. Yeah, not surround. Not 5.1 guests.
You can introduce yourselves. That's fine.
I'm Benji Kleiman.
I'm Steven Cedars. Hello.
Hello.
He's right behind you.
It's very good. I
That
will
was
say...
that was supposed to be surround sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mix that into
Okay,
stereo.
we'll work on that.
We'll mix it for sure. I'm very happy when you guys are around. You guys make me happy.
Wow.
It's nice.
Likewise.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
Wow.
I know people listening are going to think you guys are twins. Like, we've got two twins in here
Yeah.
that are dressed the same.
Whenever one
We'll post a picture. That'll help.
Shining
that'll be-
twins.
yeah. Post a super bald picture so people can really tell. Whenever someone like has known one of us for a while and then like meets the other one, they're always like, "You guys talk the exact same way." But
Yes.
I don't see it.
I don't think so, but I think you're like similar personalities.
Yeah.
Very much so. And also, I will say, whenever we hear each other, so we direct together
And write together.
and write
And write
together.
together.
And whenever like we're like, and we edit together actually.
Yep.
That
too.
The whole package, 2 for the price of 2. But whenever we're like combing through footage and we like are listening to someone give direction, we're always like, I can't believe I said that, and then the other one will be like, that was me, and I'll be like, I apologize, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, and we've actually even heard like if you're like on the headphones, we'll hear the actors be like one time actors were inside of a car, and so we were giving them direction from a walkie-talkie, and they like couldn't tell the difference. They were like, "Is that Benji or Steven saying that?" but we could hear them.
I feel like I can tell the difference with your voices.
Close your eyes. This is Steven. Can you tell?
No, that's Benji.
Okay, very
Wow,
good.
very good,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Yeah, I can tell. Although I do often want to call you by the wrong names. I like
Yes.
pause every time I say one of your names because I'm making sure I'm saying the right one.
Yes,
That's like when I
yes.
say your name.
Yeah, but that's
See, now
because
you get it. Now you get what I'm going with.
Wait, but what are you afraid you're going to say?
Because I learned that I had said her name wrong for years.
Were you like Avital?
No, I said Avatar.
That's better.
I was saying the...
You were saying
I was-
Avatar, which is worse.
Like Avatar.
No.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know how to say
No,
it
no,
right
that
or
was
wrong.
improved. You're getting better. I keep being like, call me Avi, and she refuses.
I do refuse. It's not... I wouldn't give you a nickname. It feels weird.
Why?
This is probably like rehashing for fans of the P-cast, but
So many fans.
the P-cast, great name for R. Kelly's sex tape. Just fun. But how do you guys know each other?
We met doing stand-up comedy. How we met, because I think this is a great
Yeah.
story.
Oh yeah.
I had a manager for a long time that you both have, and
Yes.
you'd think with how well we get along, he would have been like, you guys should meet. He didn't do that. Instead, at Dinosaur, a coffee place, I happened to sit outside beside Steven. Maybe I asked you to babysit my laptop or something,
You
right?
did. You
A
did.
stranger?
Yeah.
I
Look
was-
at that
Oh, a
face, though.
Jewish stranger.
I was reading the paper, like an
Yeah.
actual physical copy of the
Yeah.
paper, and you asked me to watch your stuff, and I remember it because you had a glass water bottle.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like a big deal to me because I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Why would you be carrying around a glass bottle with you? That like a water bottle by design should not be this.
It's funny. Today, I jotted down a note for my stand-up set to talk about the water bottle. So this feels very
Whoa.
serendipitous.
And do you still have a glass water
Yeah,
bottle?
I've gone through several because I smash them. It's like by
I
accident.
think that's his problem.
Well, but it's always like extreme. Like I knock it off something really hard, but they last
Yes.
usually a long
When you
time.
don't hit them, they are quite.
When you don't drop them on the cement.
powerful. Yeah.
But I agree. I don't like plastic either because
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
tastes better out
It
of
tastes
glass.
better. Yeah, right. Yeah. If you feel like there's like mold getting into the little like grooves.
Yes. And they're big. I carry those like the kinds they fill your bottles, your cups with at
Yeah,
restaurants.
it's like a restaurant bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has a little pop top, which is probably the best thing.
That's
going
a
for
big
it.
part, so it doesn't like accidentally break your cell phone, and also it holds a lot of water. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, yeah.
I bought into that early.
yeah.
All ties seamlessly into the mist. Okay, wait, but real quick, just rewinding. So we met at a coffee shop,
Yes.
which is crazy,
Yeah.
and then we stayed in touch enough that I met your writing
I'm
partner.
trying to think
and-
what the context must have been.
Yeah, how did I meet? When's the first time I met you?
I feel like it was at like a Passover thing. Is that
Oh,
possible?
that's right.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, with Ariel. Yeah.
Yeah, and
remember-
Travis.
Yes.
There's an
Yes.
actor friend of ours who's doing really well, which is nice because he deserves it, and he's
He's great.
wonderful and
Yes.
lovely.
Yep.
Travis Coles.
Travis Coles.
Travis Coles.
Plural, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Coles.
Yeah.
And I met him. He was a server, and he gave me and my friend Tony, who you guys met but you don't remember, like a free dessert. And I was like, I love this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was at Passover.
Yeah.
And we met him because he was our server and he gave us a bunch of free food.
Yeah, Travis Coles forever.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get him on here. He's
Oh,
great.
you should. He's
Yeah,
so
he
great.
loves
And he
horror
loves horror
movies.
movies. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Oh,
great.
perfect.
What do
So
you
that
What do you
works
guys
out.
edit on?
I do Premiere, she does GarageBand.
Hmm.
We alternate. Well,
You
not
alternate.
strictly. Usually, if I don't like a movie as much, she'll cut it and vice versa.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And we have very different tastes.
Have you
Yes,
ever agreed
we
on
are
a horror
opposed
movie?
on almost
Scream.
everything.
That's
Scream.
it.
Scream's a
Yeah, we
good
meet
one.
in the
Scream.
middle at Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Scream and the Craft we discovered today.
Yeah, but we
I've
haven't done
actually
that on the
never seen that.
podcast yet.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Well, no, I was just going to ask, just to, I want to know who liked the movie and who didn't like the movie.
Wait, what was your guess?
Okay, so
Yeah, what's
so
your guess?
right, so we were going to talk about this. So here's the information Stephen and I have going into this. We know that A, you guys don't agree
Yeah.
frequently. B, we know that we got a text at about 1 a.m. last night from Holly Call that said, and
You
I
up?
quote, that said, you up? And we were like, yeah, we up. No, that said, wow, 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 wow. one word. One word. Just watched. So excited to talk tomorrow.
Okay. Which could be positive or negative.
Yeah, it's
Parentheses,
a very
I'm
a polarized reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say positive, that you liked it and you did not like it.
I'm going to go opposite just for fun's sake.
Okay, very fun. Benji was right.
Yes.
Well, of course. That's what I wanted to guess, but I
I
couldn't.
had to go for fun's sake.
No, I had seen this movie. I thought when it came out,
She was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? We have to watch the myth."
that was,
Wow.
I think my exact line was like, I think slitting my wrist would be more fun.
Wow. Well, I actually wow. That's all we can say.
And out of a shorter running time.
I'm thrilled that we have this reaction because it actually is a movie that isn't like a total. It is not a crowd pleaser by nature.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Very polarizing. Film.
And we were even talking about it a little bit today. We didn't want to spoil too much, but we have points of view. You know, there are things that we were debating.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
There's
we
stuff
were-
about it I like. It's not like I just watched it and was like, this is garbage.
Totally,
I
yeah.
mean, it's Frank Darabont.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
It's
because
not
we're
garbage.
Yeah,
so ready to dive in for good reason. Let's first quickly establish who you guys are. So you're a writing directing team. I could
right.
see some snatchers in this movie. Talk a little bit about
Wow.
snatchers.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes. In
Wow,
fact,
wow.
Yeah, we'll get to.
Wow.
Yeah, Snatcher is a movie. Is our only movie.
Yeah, it's here's the better way to say it, is our feature film debut.
Beautiful.
That sounded good.
It does sound more legit.
But the way that it became a movie is just too crazy. It's its own crazy
That's
It
story.
was a movie, then it was a series, and then it's a movie again? Okay, we
Close.
don't have
Yeah,
to.
no, that's good enough. That's
Okay,
good enough.
okay.
Yeah, we'll go with it. But just so you know, they just finally actually announced it's coming to DVD and Blu-ray January 7th.
Wow.
of 2020. So if
Congratulations.
you're listening to this podcast and you like horror movies,
That's very soon because this podcast will be out at the end of December.
Yeah, if you send us a link too, we'll throw it up.
okay.
Like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you can.
posted
It's
in
like
our-
you can buy it Blu-ray, DVD, all those normal things, and also download on iTunes or Amazon or
Yeah.
Vudu.
Do you want
Great.
Chewy? I want you to just pitch quickly what it is.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah. Do you have a log line?
Yeah. It's a horror comedy about a high school girl who has sex for the first time and wakes up the next morning 9 months pregnant with an alien.
I gave them this downstairs. Almost the same.
I didn't get the 17-year-old part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
said,
said 17?
high
Yeah,
school.
but
I said
Well,
high school.
but
that's
that's
right.
good.
She is 17. No, it's
But
great.
she is 17. Yeah.
I
that's
thought I
great.
said high school,
Yeah.
but I also didn't say has sex for the first time. I just said girl wakes up 9 months
That's
pregnant.
great. Yeah.
With an alien baby.
with an alien
With-
baby. That's
yeah.
great.
That's what I said.
And it's a little tonally Mean Girls meets Gremlins.
Oh, like
Right
both
up your
those
alley.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meets the Mist.
Meets the Mist.
Oh no!
Jessica.
She's out. Or
but the-
meets the mist. That's for me.
Yes.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right. I mean, Scream
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, because you didn't seem like you were interested in our movie when Jessica was like, she liked the two
I like Mean Girls. I like Gremlins. Okay.
Have you never seen Snatchers?
No, I have. Well,
Okay, you've
I
seen
saw
the chunk of it.
I don't know where it's
Okay,
at. I
okay.
feel like it's always evolving.
Yeah,
I saw
it's true.
a good
Yeah.
bit that I
Okay.
really liked, and I wear
Okay.
the hat a lot. I wear
I
a
still heard
Snatchers
that you
hat
just
all the
said I
time.
like Gremlins okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
how is it just
Well,
okay?
like Gremlins is fun.
Ugh, love
I
it.
like the mist in a deeper way.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, it actually is I feel like the thing that they share obviously is little monsters, which is one of the things that I think Benji and I are super into. But just really quickly, the mist actually we used it. There is a creature in the mist that we used as like a reference for
Ooh.
designing
The monster.
alien.
Yeah.
So it's a good movie to watch before we watch your movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
a
that's
prequel.
awesome.
It's
Which
like a
monster?
It was the little fucker, I believe, that is the flying creature that comes in before it, like the big scary guy
yeah.
crashes through the window. It's like the little
The
guy
little,
that's
like,
like
bugs?
dangling there. Yeah, that they're like
The ones that keep landing on the window?
Yes.
With
Yeah.
a very satisfying and creepy thud.
yes, well said. Yes.
Thank you.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah, you
We
love
already
noises.
have private jokes. I do, and Jessica hates them because she's scared of them.
I
She'll-
don't
she'll
hate it,
mute
but she's always like, oh, that sound was so satisfying. And I'm like, what is that?
Oh yeah. Well, one of our favorite parts of the directing process is the sound mix because
Yeah.
boy oh boy, we are like real sound heads.
With Friday the 13th, there's a moment of like a crack over the head, and they don't use a sound. You just hear the sound of like hitting the lamp, and I'm like, this is such a missed opportunity for scariness. And Jessica's like, I love it. I don't want to hear that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
I don't
so you
hear
guys are
heads split
really
open.
disagree about
Yeah.
Yeah.
every single thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
except Scream.
Scream's great.
Scream's
It
a
is.
crowd
It's a
pleaser.
brilliant movie.
I rewatched it maybe like 5 years ago. I hadn't seen it since
It holds up.
it really does hold
Yeah.
up. It's really fun.
So we got that Snatchers is a little bit informed, monster-wise,
yes,
by this
yeah,
movie. Prior to that, what is each of your relationships with horror?
That's a good
Well,
question.
it is a good question.
Oh,
I
good.
would
We
s-
ask it every episode.
Yeah.
I would say neither of us are like die-hard horror fans. I think.
Yeah, we're not like going to every like schlocky horror movie because it's a horror movie.
Yes, and I think I'm going to speak for both of us because I think
Please
this
do.
applies to both of us. And in cases where I'm only going to speak for myself, I'll make a note
Okay,
of that.
please do.
Yeah. But I think so. We actually did a lot of sketch comedy. Benji and I grew up with each other, and then we went
each
to
other
UCLA
since fourth
together.
grade.
Known each other since fourth grade. He says.
Are y'all from out in LA or did you come from somewhere together?
The San Francisco Bay
Area,
Area, East
Okay.
Bay.
Okay.
Went to Tahia Day School with each other.
Jewish day school.
Wow. So we grew up together, made a bunch of little movies with each other, and did a sketch comedy show, and then did sketches after college, and that's kind of how we became, or that's how our quote unquote career got started. And I think
Which, just to point out that you guys are legit, Snatchers premiered at Sundance, so you're not little
Ooh.
nobodies. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, continue as you were.
So anyway, the reason why am I talking about comedy? Because they both deal with taboo, where you can with comedy it's like breaking taboos to generate a laugh, and with horror you can do it with a scream. And I think the appeal, and now I'm going to speak for myself, is of horror movies is that they go in directions that most movies don't go, and it takes you outside what you were expecting because they are allowed to break taboos where people can fuck their daughters.
If you tell Steven a movie has someone fucking their daughter, he is there.
Oh
Front
baby.
row. Big
And I wanna
bucket
just-
of pea corn.
And also I do have a beautiful baby daughter named Rachel that I do not fuck. Please cut this part out of the podcast.
I will not, actually.
I don't have a daughter, but you can do things that just you can't do in a normal movie. Like the scope of what you can do in a horror movie is way different than in like a normal movie. And I think just as coming from a comedy perspective, like that is just super appealing to be able to go in that direction, but to generate a scream instead of a laugh.
Yeah, we like, and it's nice for us. I think one thing that when we were making sketches and also when we made Snatchers, that is nice is that you once an audience knows that both are options in the same sketch or movie or whatever, then like you can generate so much tension, and then like someone could think a scream is coming, and it's the best time to make a joke. Or if you lull them into thinking, oh, this is a comedy scene, it's the best time to scare someone. So
they support each other.
Yeah,
in that way.
they're 69ing bedfellows.
Especially because they both are predicated on surprise to a certain degree,
Yeah.
and so you're not knowing which one's coming.
Twice the like options of surprise. Yeah.
Right. And both are sort of about subverting the expectation. And then you're talking about one step further of subverting the expectation of how you're going to subvert the expectation.
Yes. Very
That's
well
great.
said.
And sometimes the most surprising thing of all is the most normal thing, which is when it's like, and she closes the refrigerator and no one's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then someone's there.
Oh God!
But it's her husband.
Oh.
But he farted. Scarily. Oh, God, no!
I'm having a heart attack in the booth. Oh God!
And so that's this movie that we're writing right now.
It's called Refrigerating Farty. I will also just say, just speak for myself, that just one thing that I do think is interesting about my relationship with horror movies is I really didn't like them when I was growing up. I was really
We
scared.
get that a lot on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like even in college, I remember that the movie, the Jim Carrey movie, The Number 23 came out. I was in a film class, and for some reason I was like homework, and I made Steven come with me because I was
that's
like,
terrible
I'm
homework.
too scared to watch The Number 23.
I almost brought that up to you the other day, but I was like, I
Is
don't want
it
to
too
embarrass the guy.
No, I'm very comfortable with it. But and that was actually when I saw that movie, and I was like, oh, that's not very scary. Then that was part of it, and also I think
I love that movie was the movie that turned you on to horror movies.
you know I'm trying to remember what movie really did do it for me, where I was like, oh, I actually really love these, but I don't know. But I also didn't like roller coasters as a kid, and now I love roller coasters. You know, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I just needed my medulla oblongata needed to grow.
Do you guys have any like scary images or moments from horror movies that stay with you, or like that you were growing up with that stayed with you?
There's this father fucking his daughter
Yeah, you love
image
that
that
one,
I
yeah.
can't get out of my head.
Right. Sometimes Stephen, we'll be working, and I think he's working on his computer, and it's just he's staring at this image of this father.
Yeah.
This is all fake.
Yeah. I actually really like that question. No, I will say one thing.
I'm waiting for you to say what question. And you're like, I didn't like that question.
No. Well, that's funny. We'll tell you. There will be
Okay.
one question.
Yeah.
We'll find a good question. And be like,
Bad
reject that question. I think we're both anxious people, which we've talked about.
Oh, I
very
think we're all
recently.
anxious, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
This
I
is a
feel
room
like-
full of anxiety.
Okay,
Great.
And I do think that one of the other pleasures of watching a horror movie is the catharsis of watching someone experience something terrible, but there also being a manifestation of anxiety that then gets in some horror defeated, and that there's like a catharsis and like you get to feel like you like have control over the world walking out of that theater, like if you've vicariously experienced the empathetic connection of watching a movie. That was the douchiest thing I've ever said,
I liked it,
but that does make
especially
sense, right?
Because the movie we watched, when it was over, I was on top of the world.
Well, I
so
was gonna
happy.
say, it's funny that you say
Yes.
it because
Yeah.
wait, I assume you guys talk about endings.
The
in this
spoilers.
podcast.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we
This-
haven't gotten there, obviously, yet.
Yeah.
But yes.
But yeah, the design of this podcast, we figured out along the way, is it's supposed to feel like you just watched the movie and this is like the conversation you'd have with your friends after.
Yeah.
Very
If
fun.
we can kind of go in order, maybe it's sometimes sort of helpful.
No, that's fine.
But
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I was only without saying anything. I was only going to say that it was interesting that you said that because this movie actually doesn't necessarily leave you feeling like
Yeah.
we did it.
There is
Well-
a very specific catharsis, though, I think. Yeah. But it is up 100%. That was why
Yeah.
I made that.
Well-
That was a joke. I didn't feel
yeah.
great after it ended. I was like,
You
oh,
felt-
God. I
if you
just
had to put
sat
into
there
a word.
shell shocked.
Right, kind of
Yeah.
like
I felt
wow,
great.
wow,
I always
wow,
thought
wow.
it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hate that
so
question
happy.
if you can call that a question. Yeah, but I do think that there used to be like the thrill of watching a horror movie, and then they were like, Carrie, now like a much more like a bleak ending where it's like I feel
Yeah.
like now that like what people want out of horror is actually not something that I want out of horror, which is where it's like how fucked up can we make you feel and how like bleak and depressed and like extreme can we take you?
Yeah, like the whole torture porn craze. And all
Yeah,
that
I
shit.
also don't love that stuff.
No.
Or like Gaspar Noé. I mean, I've only seen Irreversible, but I was like, I'll never watch that again, and
Yeah.
I'm not excited to watch
Yeah.
anything else.
Oh, yeah, we both don't like torture stuff. So we
Yeah.
line up on something.
Yeah.
On some things we dislike. Although,
Nothing we like.
yeah.
I want Yeah,
Oh,
no,
go ahead.
no, you go.
Well, do you have a movie that scared you the most, or like in life, do you have a greatest fear?
I'll tell you a couple things for me. Now, one of them, funnily enough, is the first time I saw Scream, the Drew Barrymore scene. Like I remember that was like that was. I feel like everyone has this experience with one horror movie, which is that was the one that for a week I just couldn't sleep,
Oh wow.
which is so funny. And I didn't even finish watching the movie. I just watched that. But then, as is true of so many people that like horror movies, then I was like, I have to finish this movie,
Yeah.
even though it freaked me out. And I also really in any movie, nothing will like put me more like I can stomach most of the horror in the general like non-torture porn horror world, but you put someone underwater and I freak the fuck out.
So Sonic just going through like in the underwater level.
Oh, seriously, when I used to play the underwater levels in Sonic, I would actually my heart would be racing.
Yeah.
I get that.
Wow.
I have that same anxiety.
Now let me ask you this question: are you afraid when you like to be underwater as a human?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not.
Oh no.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
I have like a real claustrophobia thing. So even
Interesting.
like, being underwater makes me feel claustrophobic.
See, I don't have a claustrophobia thing or anything like that, but that makes perfect sense. But I'm. It's more that I think, from a cinematic perspective, I'm like, where's this underwater thing gonna come from? I don't know why. It just gets me.
I love that.
I'm also not afraid of being underwater normally, like swimming, but I get really scared of the idea of breathing it in and drowning,
Yes,
and
sure.
that
Yeah.
always freaks me out.
Yeah. Okay.
Just the idea of it.
Yeah.
Would you say that's like your biggest fear?
No.
Okay.
Not at
No,
all.
it just
I'm
freaks you
super
out.
chill about the water. But you get me in that movie. I don't know what my greatest fear is. Wow, scary. Heights freak me out in real life, but not in
Yeah.
movies. So
Oh.
reverse.
All right, that's cool.
Probably a heart attack.
That is my greatest fear. Do you know that? Are you being serious? That
I
have
am
that?
being
Yeah,
serious.
I have like,
Benji thinks that like sometimes he's like, my
I almost
My
said,
arm
I
is
almost
numb.
said it downstairs just now.
yeah,
I always think I'm having a heart attack. I was like, I ate too much meat.
and it immediately clogged your arteries,
Yeah.
and you're having a heart
I'm
attack.
having a
Yeah,
heart attack.
I will. I have. I think it's a good answer to the question. What
Well, why
horror
don't you
movie?
say it's an answer and we'll judge if it's a good
But I want to prime you guys
Okay,
to think that
okay,
it's good. So one of them. So they were both watched at my grandparents' house, which is only important because they had HBO. And I was
Yes.
either watching softcore pornography or I was watching horror movies that I couldn't watch.
Bordello.
And I actually really do like that
That's
movie.
a great film.
But one movie is called The Gate, which is
Okay.
Ooh, that movie's scary.
directed by a guy named Tibor Takacs, I think his name is. And he also is famous for his other movie, The Gate 2, which I only discovered existed last night, bizarrely enough. But it's about a kid who accidentally discovers like the portal to hell in his backyard, and there are a bunch of little monsters in it, and then like his home turns into like a freaky fun house, scary horror house, and it terrified me. Like there's a part where this guy, like a construction worker, like his friend tells him like a little story like, yeah, the construction worker died building your house and he's in the walls, and he's like, that's not true. And then later like a guy, like he's like a zombified guy, and he like breaks out of the wall and like grabs him, and it was on the stairs, and I was terrified like running up and down the stairs when I was a kid because of this movie.
Thinking someone would come out of the wall and grab you.
Yes, and I actually have a video. I won't do it to you guys now, but I have a video of it on my phone
Oh.
because I filmed it for a friend, and I want to show it to you guys. I recently rewatched it.
Is it
because,
scary still?
It has elements that are freaky. It's not scary,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's a lot of what I think we like, which is like a lot of like practical effects and a lot of like little
Yes.
like weird little monster fun guys.
Cool.
Little monsters.
Little monsters.
Real monsters.
Yes.
Great show.
All right, should we move into the little
Yeah, let's
monsters
get
in
into
this?
it.
Yes.
I
Good
read
segue.
that it was meant to be the like director's cut. I'm sure you guys know this was in black and white.
Yes.
What a different experience that would be.
I know. Can I tell you what I think is weird about that?
Yeah.
So I didn't remember this having seen it because we rewatched it, but I hadn't seen it probably for like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years, maybe more. And there's like a lot of like, they're really riding the zoom lens in that movie. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Like it like almost Office Modern
Yeah,
Family
yeah.
style,
I noticed
Yeah.
it
Which-
one time specifically.
which to me doesn't really comport like
Yeah. This
'cause I
becomes
remember-
so comedic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just it also feels a little bit like just not anti-cinematic. It almost
Right, like
feels
documentary,
home
Yes,
video.
yeah.
catch can.
Catch. So in between having seen it, whatever, 5 or 8 years ago, I heard this black and white thing at some point, and then in my mind I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense because it's a super cinematic movie. And then rewatching it, I was having this black and white thought, being like, this. I can't actually imagine this comporting so well with black and white.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's
I read
fine.
it when it was over, so I wasn't thinking about it during, but especially for the effects.
Yes.
I feel like they'd be much more believable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to the movie that I liked it so much, even though the effects are so
They're
distracting.
terrible.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about how bad they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the most upsetting parts about rewatching the movie is how bad they are, especially at the kill with like the stock boy,
The first
Norm,
kill.
Yeah.
the first kill, because
Yes.
that is where they are selling the concept
Right.
of this is not just like a weather event. This is like a little
Right.
bit more
Right.
scary than that. And it's like, look out!
The video games are coming for you.
Yeah, and it like is it's really embarrassing stuff. But yes, the black and white thing. I think we read that like he was very inspired by like the 1950s.
Yeah, like classic
for-
monster movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have never seen it as a black and white
Nor have
movie. But I'm
I want
sure
to.
that you're right that it makes it
The effects
way.
better.
Yeah, the effects
better.
have to be better, I figure. But
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe not. But it really, I think it's so good anyway.
Jessica, care to comment?
Okay, so here's what I figured out as I was watching this movie today is I like okay. Like, how do I say this?
I like nothing.
No, the acting's amazing. The premise is amazing. I started it one night and I didn't finish it, and the next morning I woke up literally to a mist. I texted
Oh,
Tal a
cool.
picture because I was like, "What is happening? Why is Burbank covered in a mist? We don't get mist."
Arrowhead.
And then I watched the rest of it today, and I think it has so many. It starts like each time it goes down a path where I'm like, I love it. I'm so excited, and it's like it hits all these notes of like the romance. Okay, they're in there. And then they kill her, and I'm like,
Yep.
and it's like each time, I think that's why this movie frustrates me so much, is
Yes.
it keeps trying to go down a path that I will like, and then it's
Yes.
like, fuck you, Jessica.
I mean, I think that kind of speaks to what we were
whole
talking about
movie,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, but with like the ending specifically. But I think it is kind of luring you into thinking like, oh, it's going to be one of these kinds
Like the
of
Blob.
stories.
I kept feeling like it was going down kind of like the Blob path.
Do you know
Wait.
that he wrote the Blob?
I didn't.
the
Wow.
remake of
The
it.
80s one?
Yes.
I love that one.
That movie
It's
is
so
good.
good. Have
Yeah,
you guys
it's
done
so
that movie?
good.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, it's
it's
amazing.
really good. And
Yeah,
it
you
holds
want to come
up.
back for the Blob?
The Blob
I would-
is so
yes.
great.
We
Okay,
have
let's do
to.
it. I've never
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah,
it's
I think
fantastic.
I love that movie.
Yes.
So that was more like where I kept, and I know how it goes. So it's like, it's not like I was surprised each time, but each time I'd get frustrated. And I was like, oh yeah, this is why this movie frustrates me so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
You're
And
also
I,
looking for evidence to support your hypothesis already that it was bad and painful and brutal.
no, because we have it. So I did like it when it came out enough, but I would get frustrated
Yeah.
Yes.
that about like the
Yeah.
roads it was going down, and I appreciate a movie that does go down different roads.
Right.
Like I can appreciate the ending, but I also feel like it's hard to appreciate it after Marcia Gay Harden's amazing performance because you're just like,
You mean at her? Frustration at her?
well, because it's like she's so good at being the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for her to be like somewhat victorious or like a prophet and kind of be right about certain things, it's like frustrating.
Which
You
I want to like debate that.
You
more
want
at
the,
the
but
end. I want to hear
you
what your
want
thoughts
her
are on that.
to be wrong and
Right.
like to be made a fool, and everyone's a
yes.
fool who followed her, and then to have like our people be the ones that are made a fool is like the frustrating,
Yes. It's funny because in the context of like the whole
which I appreciate. I
Right,
can
right.
appreciate that.
Right, because there is something like if that were like the first attempt at making a horror movie, it'd be like, all right, and then we could refine that and maybe make some stuff more satisfying. But in the context of like horror movies already doing that, there's like a nice, I don't know if it's postmodern, but like a nice like it already knows how horror movies work,
Yeah.
and so it's going like these are turns you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
I
I
found it very satisfying in that way. And really tense. And there was an image that really scared me, even though a lot of the special effects
The
were bad.
tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
The first
tentacles.
time you see that video game tentacle.
I had
Man.
the captions on in the beginning, and when they first like pull up to the grocery store, David Drayton's cell phone won't work, so he goes to make a call, and there's a bit of background dialogue. Did you guys catch this?
No.
That just goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't know she was your sister," and it never comes back.
I actually did hear. Wait, it's when he goes to the payphone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I heard. I was watching it with earbuds in, and I heard it too, and I was like, "Is that like a little Easter egg?" But I
That's
didn't
so
go back.
funny. Yeah,
That's so weird.
I like loved it, and it has nothing to do with anything. And then also, there's a really great zinger from Norton at the grocery store where he says, "Your wife should be a doctor. She could make a fortune in Manhattan with this handwriting." And I had to write it down. I was like, "That's pretty
That's
good.
Andre
Got her."
Braugher line, right?
Yeah.
I know. I wanted
Sweet.
more Brower.
We
He's
all
great.
want more Brower.
It was such a bummer that he never comes back.
He's the
That
greatest.
he's not on the boat at the end. Or not boat. What is that? Like the army.
Yeah.
In my
tank.
mind, it's a
A
boat.
tank.
Yeah.
The first like scary moment I think is the guy runs in saying the mist took John Lee.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
Dale
he-
from The Walking Dead.
Oh, I haven't seen
Who's
The
a
Walking
guy
Dead.
who's in like every Frank
Oh,
Darabont
cool.
loves this guy.
Yeah.
And actually,
Yeah, I mean, like,
I
I'd
loved
seen
him
it
too.
originally,
It's great.
and then seeing
Yeah.
it now after The Walking Dead, I was like, oh, they're all from The Walking Dead.
Do you guys want to hear my? You know how they have that thing after The Walking Dead called The Talking Dead?
Yes.
I feel like this should be called The Gist.
oh, that's good.
That's good.
Thank you.
I like it very much.
Wait, let me try one.
Okay. Do another Frank Darabont because that's the theme.
Okay. The Blob, and then the wait for it.
Okay.
Just
I have another one.
okay.
Shawshank
Whoa.
Redemption. Oh, this one's not as good. But I was like Shawshank Recaption.
Oh,
you
pretty
know?
good.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say Shaw Talk Redemption.
Okay.
Or Shop Talk Redemption.
Okay.
Sorry.
The Gist.
We should have quit at the gist.
Yeah.
Well, you're ahead. When we do have the tentacle situation, I wonder if anybody else felt this way. That guy Jim is like, "You're not going to talk down to us just because
Yes.
you're some fancy artist."
Is
blah,
that
blah,
William
blah."
Sadler?
Is who?
Which one is what?
He eventually like joins the.
Okay,
other
yeah,
side?
that's William
That guy.
Sadler.
Okay.
Who I love.
Yeah,
I didn't know
he's
him.
great.
I don't know any of the characters' names. I only know either
wrote it
Walking
down
Dead names
here.
or actor names.
Tom Jane.
And,
Thomas Jane.
and I've never seen The Walking Dead. So
I watched
Missing
the
out.
pilot and I quit after that.
It was great for a while. For a solid while.
Pass.
It's great.
So he contributes to getting this guy killed.
Yes.
And then he's so apologetic.
Yes.
And I can't help but feel sorry for him. Like, he obviously has very low self-esteem. That's why
Yes.
he's, like, doing this whole, like, you think you're better than me
Yeah.
thing. And then he feels really bad. And I don't know, he kind of won me over.
When
Thoughts?
and when you were like,
He
Thomas
didn't win
Jane
me
should
over.
forgive him.
Well, yeah.
No,
kinda.
he
And
was
what are you
so
gonna do now?
rude to Thomas Jane, and
He
Thomas Jane's
was.
like, "Yeah, that guy's dead now, dummy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need your
Thomas
apology."
Jane is right, but at the same time, like, yikes, I killed
Yeah.
someone. I'm really sorry about it. He
I
can't
did
take
like
it
the
back.
line.
The apology acting is really good.
Yeah. He seems like he meant it.
Yes,
He
yes.
But I
feels
like
really
that
bad.
he's like because he's like, I didn't talk the kid into it. He wanted to do it, and he's like,
He's a kid. We're
kids are
adults.
supposed to be
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
What's your
What's
What's
your
your
excuse?
excuse?
Yeah.
Yeah, good
That's a
line.
good line.
Classic zinger.
Classic Darabont.
Yeah. the D man.
I have so much to say, so I can just, but also like jump in anytime,
Okay,
say
this
all
is
the
actually
things.
a part
Okay.
that he and I were talking about today.
Okay, great.
Yes. Well, one of the things, I mean, I actually think that, I mean, maybe this is what all horror movies do, and this is going to sound really stupid.
Scare you.
But this one really scared us. But the way we're actually writing something right now with like a kind of high concept, which I think that this has a high concept, and I think it's deceptively difficult what Debont does,
The D man.
which is like it's not when like this concept is introduced, then all of a sudden it's like 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. It's much more of a gradual ramp up,
Totally.
where that like lets you acclimate to the reality, but it also lets you live in these really human moments, which are the scariest moments of what this
Yes.
movie is. Like
The
the
like
monster.
Lord of the Flies type
Yes,
stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's the scariest part to me.
Me
Yeah,
too.
Wasn't the monster, although the spider
yeah.
scene did scare me. 'cause
I do
hate
think
spiders
that
so
is
much.
what this movie is.
Yeah.
Like that's the almost the at least the director's premise.
Right.
Is that
Even like the little boy saying, "Don't let the monsters get me," and it's sort of this nod of like, "Oh, it won't be the monsters."
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, it's
Well,
the
especially
human
when
monsters.
when
want the
Amanda's
bullet.
like, it's
Yeah.
been 2 days.
Yeah.
At a certain point, they're like, it's only been 2 days, and everyone's already
Yeah.
turning on each other.
Right, a
Yes.
classic theme of horror is the hey, is it the monsters who are scary or is it the humans?
the monsters
Within, I was
Oh.
thinking it too.
Very nice.
I do have one other thing I want to say about that scene, which is
Yes.
I found upon a rewatch, I did not find this the first time I watched it, but that the point of view of the guy saying "let the kid go out there" before, I was like, I don't buy it. Like,
Yeah.
what? He was too gung ho. Like, it'd be
Yeah.
one thing if he was like, he's a kid, let him do it.
Yeah.
But he was like, that kid's going out there no matter what. And it's like, why? It's fine. We don't need it. He's going out there, you motherfucker, you Hollywood piece of shit.
I agree. And then I think they did a good job of sort of salvaging it where Toby, what's the name?
Oh, God.
Toby Jones?
Yeah,
Ollie?
what's Ollie.
We-
I did know some names.
Yeah. Where Ollie is like, basically like, they feel out of control. Let them do the one thing that gives them a sense of control.
I agree.
Yeah,
That was
a
one that
good
saved it
save.
for me. Also,
But they could have incorporated that more into.
I think
agree.
he,
It was very
Toby
like,
Jones was my
he's
favorite
going
part
out
of this
there.
movie.
yes,
Yeah,
Toby
he's
Jones
great.
is a saint. He's
Yeah.
wonderful.
A saint.
I was telling Steven, and you guys, and listeners at home, listen to Toby Jones talk in that movie. Close your eyes. Picture Mark Ruffalo,
Wow.
and let
And isn't it weirdly dichotomous?
yeah.
And they sound
No.
nothing
Yeah.
alike.
I'm Toby Jones. Wait, one other thing.
Yes.
Yes.
To the thing about they're like big Hollywood talk. We were talking about this. What is his job?
He's a painter.
He's
Oh,
a
he paints
But, like, the
movie
paint-
posters.
But they're like old, like he's painting what they sell at the Venice Boardwalk.
Yeah.
like they're oil paintings of like he's painting, as Steve was pointing out. It's Clint Eastwood with a rose neck. Like it feels like it's like
So I
It's The
thought
Dark
it was,
Tower.
Yes, I thought it was Clint Eastwood too. And then I was
because I recognized the
researching,
thing right away.
and it's not.
Because one of them is
oh,
the
so it's a Stephen
poster.
King Easter egg. But there's also the Thing poster behind
Yeah,
it.
which
Oh, I
is
didn't see that.
John
I looked
Carpenter.
it up, yeah, and it was like, oh, it's a nod because he did the fog.
Yes,
seemed
which
like a
is
stretch.
truly a terrible
Even if
movie.
both of those
I
things are true,
love
why
The
is he?
Fog.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my god.
my team.
Oh my god. I was
told me if
and
you
know
wanna
what?
see a
I love
true-
both versions of the fog.
Wait, what is the second version of the
The
Fog?
one with like Tom Welling and Maggie Grace.
like they remade the Fog.
Yeah, like in 2005 with the guy who played Superman from Smallville.
Oh my god, I will miss that.
Oh, I almost had his name and I just couldn't.
Tom
get it.
Welling.
Tom Welling. Yep, that's his name. You already had said it.
Because I like ghost stuff. I like that in the
Yes.
fog as opposed to the mist, ghosts come out. Seeking
We'll have
revenge.
to watch it and see, but you guys won't come for that one.
No, and you won't like it because I do. But I like both of. Honestly, I like both in the sense of like, much like I like Twister. I like weather-related stuff. There's something fun about stuff that actually happens. Like we
Yeah.
actually do get missed.
Right. Have you
Yeah.
seen The Drizzle? It's really good.
But we don't get like aliens in the mist that we know of yet.
True. that.
Yet.
Global warming.
Also, when they come out of the back, did you have something else to say about the back?
No, no. The only other thing I was saying was just that. Why is he painting already existing movie posters? What is his job?
Yeah.
Why is he upset that a movie poster that's already been made got ruined in the rain?
well,
What
some
is-
hot shop painter is like a weird. Because you don't really hear of like a hot shop painter.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and then they're treating him like he is like a
Hollywood guy.
yeah.
But it is. I think it's supposed to be for Hollywood movies, and then it's like a
It's a
subtle nod to the
class
Dark
thing.
Tower.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
but it
you're an
has
artist.
no bear like his we were talking about this on the car ride to work today and we were like it's weird that it's predicated on movies, and as Benji's pointing out, it's like they're talking about like they're referring to Andre Braugher as like you're not one of us, you're not a townie. What's
Yeah,
the word?
You're an out of towner.
You're an
is what
outta
they
Yeah,
keep
we're
saying.
locals. You're out of town.
But Thomas Jane is like a Hollywood guy, but then also it's not like it's just weird that it's not like this is how they do it in movies, and therefore I have the knowledge to
Right.
It's not like it's not. I mean, that would be very postmodern like Scream, where it's like we're gonna like it's
Right.
the Jamie Kennedy role,
Right.
Yeah.
but it just is just such a bizarre job for him to have that has zero meaning,
Right.
which is just like a
Yeah,
weird.
especially with the opening scene.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's like,
Yeah.
and then a tree comes through and
And he should have
ruins
taken the
painting.
painting with him.
Yeah,
Down.
Yeah, and it
Done.
never
we
comes.
all hate the opening.
I wonder
We
if
all
that's
hate
just to try and get you to like invest in this one world and then take you completely somewhere
Right.
else.
yeah.
Like
Right.
the trials and tribulations of being a human, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, you got bigger fish to
Right.
fry.
Just show him-
Thomas Jane.
Right. That's pretty good. But just show him Frenching his wife. And
Yeah, that's true. That
or
would
his
be
little
better.
boy for all that.
Because you were saying that
count.
you like the thing where it's the parent and the child.
Yeah, you wanted
I
them
do.
Frenching.
Yeah, but that might not be enough for me. I don't know.
You're saying Frenching might not be.
You
enough.
want penetration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I'll probably cut some of this out just because you really sound like a pedo.
I know.
I know, but what's done
it's
is
so
done.
weird.
When they're coming out, this is really minor, and I don't need to bring it up, but
I
I'm
like that we're
going
really
to.
going like.
Be- He comes out and they give him a spare shirt because he's covered in
Yes,
blood.
mhm.
Who had this spare shirt?
Oh no, it was hanging on the rack.
Why?
It's a
Where?
grocery store in a
There's
small
closings.
town.
But I thought it would make sense if they gave him like a grocery store
Oh, that would
employee.
be
Oh,
good.
because like
Oh,
you
that
know,
would've
in
been
small
good.
towns they sell
That's
clothes in
true,
grocery
they
stores.
do.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
But
sense.
also
All
that's
right,
like-
I'm satisfied.
Because it's like a general store.
Yes,
Okay.
but I was frustrated when it was like, how, like when Andre Braugher's like, you're tricking me, but it's like, oh, if I only had the shirt with the blood on it to be able to convince you
Right,
that
like,
I'm not
why was-
making a
yes.
joke.
Yes.
But
And
I
also-
did when Andre Brower's like, you're going to take me back there and there's going to be some rubber snake. And it's like, oh shit, do they do this shit to Andre Brower all the time? Because it's like, he's like, clearly this has happened to him before.
Yes.
Right.
That
'cause-
they've
there's
made
already
a
like
fool
a
of him.
rivalry between them.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
just mistrustful. But the thing that's weird to me is he's like, I don't buy that. The killer missed, I believe. But eventually I guess he stands up to the killer
You know what I
missed
think?
too.
I bought it. I bought Andre because I buy his performance and everything.
He's great.
He's
But
great.
fantastic.
He's so
but I
good.
think it was the word tentacle.
Yeah.
I think by being like there were tentacles, it's like clearly we're landlocked.
Yeah.
Like we're not by the sea right now. There's nothing at the door that's got
a good
tentacles.
point.
It's such a
I
fake word to use. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
Yes, I never thought
If
of
you
it.
had
Yeah.
said
Either,
like
yeah.
there were claws or there was
Right.
like something
Oh,
like that, that would sound
There was
more.
a convenience
Yeah.
store monster or something very local. No, I do
But like
understand.
tentacles is
Yes,
such a
yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
even
you're
though
saying-
you thought they were at the end. You're like, "Oh, they're on the ship."
So in my head, they were on a boat, like in a parade, kind of.
Yeah, sure. A float, maybe is there.
That's the word I was looking for.
I also love that the religious chick, especially after watching like Misery, when you have these religious zealots, they usually
And the
don't
girlfriend
curse.
was the old lady was in Misery.
She's
the
the
wife.
wife. Oh my god, I loved her, but I didn't connect that was
You
her.
mean the old biddy?
Yeah,
She's great.
like an old biddy.
I love that line. I love
Yeah.
her. I was so glad she like makes it to our final five.
Yeah.
Big fan. But she says to the
Final
blonde,
five. What ending are you referring to? They can't hear me wink on you.
he's winking. She says, "The day I need a friend like you, I'll just have myself a little squat and shit one out."
Oh, Marcia Gay Harden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, she does a lot of cursing. Also, what about treat others as you'd like to be treated? I
No,
don't know
she's
which
going real Old
she is.
Testament.
Treat others as you'd like to be treated is Old Testament.
That's
Is
true.
it?
Yeah, Golden
Yeah.
Rules. Old
So I'm not
Classic
religious.
anti-Semitism.
I'm not religious at all.
Right,
so
right.
like
you don't have to be
this-
religious to be a raging anti-Semite.
But so like watching this where someone is so religious, it's kind of that thing of like, oh yeah, this is why I don't do this.
Yes, it is. It is. I was actually thinking about that. How it is. It is funny that it is a classic in horror movies, like a bad person trope. Mm-hmm. You know.
Of being religious or of being not religious?
No, of being a zealot, of being
Yeah.
like super over.
Well,
Yeah, because
Stephen
like
King also
she's
loves it.
Yes.
no matter how nice anybody is to her, she's like, you sinner, you whore, you like.
Right.
She doesn't. It does. There's no like,
Like, I thought
welcoming.
the child would be an innocent that was to be saved
No,
at
she
all
wants to
costs.
sacrifice the
Yeah.
child.
It doesn't work that way. I like that she says, the God of the Israelites, and he is the stern and vengeful God, because that's the one I grew up believing
Yes.
in.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, right, right,
He's a
right.
real asshole.
Yeah, that's
I was
very,
like,
very good point. Yes.
I have empathy for you because of my like steep Orthodox upbringing. I knew the word like kapara and atonement, but never expiation. I looked it
Oh,
up.
right.
That was
Right,
just like
the
not.
blood, like, what is it?
It's like a sacrifice to like an atonement. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What's
sacrifice.
kapara?
Kapara is the Hebrew for like Yom HaKippurim comes from
Kippur.
kapara.
Oh.
Yeah, to repent, to atone. So I was like, I know the Hebrew.
Kapara.
Yeah, kapara.
Kapara.
Beautiful.
Shalom.
But it's fun to hear her say bitch and shit. You're like, oh.
I feel like
Yeah.
bitch weirdly always does play in, like I feel like religious people are always because it's like
Right,
it's like
and
horror.
slut.
Yeah,
Whore, yeah,
you
whore
know,
comes
like,
up a
yeah,
lot.
Yeah.
That's true.
I do.
actually-
She's so scary in that scene where she gets punched and then she like picks off the blood and is like, more for the sacrifice or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I do like that she doesn't even like she's not. She doesn't even take the beat to be like I'm so upset. She's just like, ugh.
This is part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I
You're
like
feeding
it.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really cool in her way.
Yes.
Yeah. She definitely takes control.
Yeah.
Hey, she knows what she wants and
That's
she's
right.
going for it.
She wants lots of followers.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna murder everybody else.
Yeah. We're talking about Insta followers, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Do you remember that line where someone says, "Do you happen to have a gun in this store?" And he says, "Please, this isn't Los Angeles."
Yeah, I wrote
Yes.
that one down too.
Good line.
That-
Wait, what was the context of that again?
They're looking for a
In the
gun.
grocery
It's
store.
like right before they do the rope out the door scene.
Oh, it's just so good.
Before he gets the shotgun, he's like, "Do you have a gun in the store?" And then the guy, the owner of
Toby.
the Oh, it is.
I thought Toby ends up having.
Oh,
no,
it's
somebody
No,
else
it's
has it.
Amanda.
Toby
Amanda
gets
has
the
it in
gun.
her
Yeah.
purse
You're right.
because her husband's out of
gave it to
town.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's
You're
not
right,
even
you're right.
loaded.
Oh, and it's like, oh, this isn't Los Angeles, as in like we don't keep a gun in the
Yeah.
store.
In the
Yeah.
store, yeah.
But I was like, but you also are in like a rural place where there
Right,
should
more-
be guns in stores.
Right.
Where are they? They're near Portland.
They're
I think they're in Maine. Yeah.
Okay.
There is.
Yeah.
It is a
Because
Stephen
it's Stephen King.
Yeah,
story.
Right.
So
I
it's always
believe-
Maine.
I believe
Okay.
that it's actually there is a Castle Rock newspaper in it. Like I think it is in
Oh.
Castle Rock.
Cool. Is Stephen King an atheist? Probably, right?
I
I don't know.
think he is.
I wonder. This
He
movie
hates
kind of-
religion.
yeah.
Guys,
Yes.
have you ever read Stephen King on writing?
No, but I want to.
You should.
It's a great book.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, that's my next move.
But I'm only saying that because if you're at it's half an autobiography. Stephen turned me onto it, lest I take credit for
This
it.
Stephen
This
here, not
Stephen
Stephen
right
Not
King.
Stephen King.
You're talking about Stephen King.
Stevie.
Can you imagine if
No
Stephen
last
King
name.
was like, you should really read my
Read my
book?
Have you read Stephen King's on writing? You on writing? Sure. What the hell?
That's the one book he's pushing out of all of them.
Yeah. But it's half autobiography, half writing.
Oh, cool.
Tutorial,
I gotta
which is-
read it.
yeah.
That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, you had said this is like right before the rope stuff, which is true.
Yeah.
And that one hero ties the rope around his waist before he leaves. And I
You
like
said
this
one
line.
hero.
Yeah, because he's doing it. He says, "Hey, crazy lady, I believe in God too. I just don't think he's the bloodthirsty asshole you make him out to be." Which I'm like,
Yeah.
now you're gonna end up bloodied because this movie's gonna prove you wrong. And then she says, "Well, you take that up with the devil when you run into him. Just chat it over at your leisure." Which I really like that exchange.
Like you like the image of him and the devil chatting?
Yeah, and that's her comeback to it. You know, she thinks that that's the devil's doing to like not believe in an angry, bloodthirsty God.
right.
Which is so weird.
Right. The idea of believing in a benevolent God to her is
Yes,
blasphemy.
exactly. You put that exactly how I meant it.
Okay. Well, I understood what you meant.
What about
Yeah.
me?
You haven't said a God to
You put it
Wait.
the way I couldn't verbalize, but that's exactly
hey,
it. Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Again, how I grew up. You know?
Yes.
But you guys think that she is correct? Like that was your takeaway?
I think there's a
That was-
strong case to be made.
I have to say, when I heard you say it, I thought that's interesting.
That
but
was
I
my
never...
takeaway, which is why I get frustrated with the
Could-
movie.
because
That's
the,
how I've always interpreted it. Is that not right?
the woman like so whatever, we've talked about all of this, but the can I broach the ending for a
Yeah.
second?
I think this movie might be worth it only because I think we can look at
The
other
ending
plot
is such
points.
Yes.
thing that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
really makes this movie special.
Yes.
Yes.
And so the big famous thing that we know about the ending is that
Mhm.
Frank Darabont added it from the novella.
Yes.
That Stephen King didn't write it because Stephen King doesn't know how to write an ending.
Because he has an outline.
We
Yeah.
will edit that part out. We love. No, I'm just kidding.
I believe that.
We
I
love
actually
Stephen
do.
King.
I love Stephen King.
No one loves Stephen King more than Stephen, my king.
And your
I
queen.
do, but it's why it's like, and then at the end, in the novella, I'm pretty sure they just drive off into the mist.
Right. That's what I read.
Yeah.
I read that
On
they
IMDb.
Yeah.
get a signal and they're like leaving this
Yeah.
hotel.
Yeah, and it's
maybe?
kind of like, what's gonna happen? We don't know.
Have you guys
So-
ever
But
read
that
his
they
short
had
stories?
the
No.
bullets.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you read his book of short stories, like by the fourth, they're great. But by the
They're
fourth
amazing.
one, every ending is the same. It's either and
Right.
they drive off, or it's and they drive off, but something lurked behind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do think that his short stories are my favorite form of his stories because with a
They're
short
short.
story, you actually but you also don't ask for the same thing in a short story that you do
Right.
from a longer piece
Yeah,
of
which
fiction.
is I think I would have liked this ending better. I was actually just talking about this with my husband before I got
Yeah.
here. Of like, if I had to read a really long book and this was the ending, I would feel more frustrated than if this was the ending to a short story.
Yes.
Because I
And-
think it's a great ending to a short story.
Oh, but you're saying
You're
the
saying the movie.
movie ending.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's interesting. Well, at least I think for me, what I'm searching for is like in an ending, it is like it feels like a cohesive piece that's making a statement.
Yeah.
Which I do think the movie version does, but I
And
do
it's a
understand that it's
ballsy
bleak that you
statement.
don't like it. I
Right
think,
before it happens. Okay, so just for anybody who doesn't know, even though you probably should know, they're trying to escape the monsters. Eventually, they run out of gas.
Well, and they
And
also
there's-
escape the monsters being Marcia Gay Harden.
Yes,
That's why they leave
all
the
the
grocery
monsters.
store.
By the way, if you haven't seen this movie, this is about to be a giant spoiler.
Yeah,
See the movie.
watch
Yeah,
the movie. But they leave with a gun. There's 5 of them, including his son, a little boy, and there's only 4 bullets. And David says, "I'll figure something out." And basically, it's like a mercy killing of everybody but him.
Yeah, he's
Then-
so sure that they're all going to die a much more gruesome death.
Yes.
So he says.
So he gets out of the car, basically, like the I know what you did last summer. Like, what are you waiting for? Just take me now. And I had the thought. I was like, if instead of it being monsters, it's like help, and they've survived, that is going to be so much more depressing.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they were going to do it. But I had the thought as soon as he got out of the car, and then sometimes that would ruin it. It's like, oh, I saw that coming. It didn't at all, because I never thought they would go for it.
Yeah.
And it was so bleak and heartbreaking and painful, but also I thought so satisfying.
Well,
And I had the girl from the beginning,
yes.
Yes,
Which-
we were
yes.
just talking- yeah.
which I think that might be my favorite scene. It's
That's
like her
great.
Jerry Maguire of like, who's
Yes.
coming with me?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well,
And,
that-
and all the men are just looking at the ground.
Yes. And we're all, at least for me watching it, I'm like, they're right to not go with her.
So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, this is the thing that we were talking about. What's so great about this movie is that they deal, like, her performance at the beginning makes me feel like everything that's happening is real. Like, the guy who comes in screaming,
Yeah.
I'm like, it feels like a little bit campy, but it's fun. But her performance really grounds the
It
reality
really
of
does.
it.
If you love her, she's still on The Walking Dead.
Oh, is she
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yeah, she's like one of the main characters.
Well, it does not surprise me that she's had a long and illustrious career. Even
Yeah,
though I've
good
never
for
seen The
her.
Walking Dead. But we were talking about how the fact that so she asks anyone to help her, and everyone's like, I've got like the main character is like, I've got my own boy to take care of. Which in a normal story, like you wouldn't like that. That's what's so amazing is that they actually deal with like these human. That is a very human moment for that. Like in a normal story, the hero would be like, I'll go with you. And
Right.
then it's a movie where it's like, okay, now we're in the mist and we're going to get her daughter back. And it's like, that would be what the movie is. But instead they're like, no, thank you. We're going to protect our own.
Yeah.
But then the movie makes the point at the very end, like when she passes by, or like, this is what I've never thought this before, but I was like, I think this is telling me that the entire movie is like he's being punished for not having helped her at the beginning, which is weird. I think it's
I
go
just
ahead.
think it's funny because I didn't have that. No one else. I mean, that's a unique interpretation from you that you think is true, and it doesn't make sense because
Yes. Although that it's just like such a bizarre, but like I just don't understand what the other like context of like seeing her again alive with her kids is beyond saying like, well, if you had gone with that woman, you would have been alive. But
well, there is also a really dark possibility of, again, to your point, Jessica, that Marcia Gay Harden is right, because as soon as he sacrifices his son,
And the woman. Because they
Helperize.
say
Right,
they both
kill
have
the
to
whore.
die.
Oh, that's
That
why
was
you're
my
saying that
interpretation.
she's right.
Yeah,
And she
because they
also
wanted
says-
Got
she
it.
wanted the whore and the child dead.
she also says something about the 7
Interesting.
plagues, which I looked up
Yes.
because I was like, there's
Right,
10 plagues. What are you
You're
talking
three
about?
short of an omelet.
Yeah.
Here. A huge
Of
omelet.
A huge what?
Omelet.
Oh, right. Hold on,
A
I'll
10-plague omelet.
scroll down because I pulled it up. It says the traditional number of 10 plagues is not actually mentioned in Exodus, and other sources differ. Psalm 78 and 105 seem to list only 7 or 8 plagues and order them differently. But the 10th plague in that scenario is number 7. So the 10th plague would be the death of the firstborn. So that to me was very interesting. Like if the
Or in
7
Hebrew,
plagues,
Ephel Hashiru Team.
where is the bathroom is what he just said. But yeah, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
I mean, that
fucked
actually is
up.
a pretty good analysis. I like that. Spooky.
But
Very
Yeah.
spooky.
Yeah, well, what's weird? Okay, but returning to my turning back to my
my theory. yeah.
No, actually, I it's not correct. It's just I think
No,
it's such
I
a-
mean, if he had gone with her,
Well,
theoretically,
there's
he would
also
have
like an
survived.
interesting idea of like, I wonder what her movie's about.
Yeah.
She leaves and goes off. We see her with 2 children, so I'm guessing those were her kids at the end. And like, what's
Yeah,
her
yeah.
story? Who'd she meet up with?
You know-
Right? Did she just survive and it was easy, or did she have to fight something off? She doesn't look like battered.
She
or
doesn't look
bruised.
battered.
Or
See,
she
the
just
reason
get
I'm
picked
not-
up by the army as she's like
Yeah.
heading back to the kids.
I have 2
Yeah.
statements. One is in this modern day, cannibalize all of our existing IP world.
Mm-hmm.
You sell that movie, or you pitch that movie, you're off to the races.
Yeah.
It's trademark. I trademark it.
Yes, great, right. It's like Rose and
That's all I like to do,
Guildenstern are not dead because they left.
Yeah.
To your point, I think the reason I don't know that I think that is true, that's punishment for that, is that she survives. Like she doesn't need, like she doesn't. It's not like they let this person die, therefore they get like what's to be punished for. She
That's interesting,
survives.
and also she's just trying to protect her kids, and he's just trying to protect his.
Totally, yeah.
Right, but it's not like he sees.
So why would his action be?
Could be
worse
luck of the
than
draw.
Proving
Ah.
that she survived
Yeah.
isn't like, see, you should have done something. She's fine.
It's kind of like you made the right decision.
You might even say
that he made the right decision, or that she did?
both of them.
Well, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he had to kill that kid to survive. That's what you're positing.
That's, I know.
I did feel like,
Ugh.
why don't you just at least wait until you're a little hungrier or you hear some more monsters approaching?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, or something's rocking the car.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
at least
about
hang
that
out,
too.
tell
but
jokes.
but seeing it on this go round, I felt like, sure, but
Just get it
eventually
over
we're gonna get there. If the point is that it's gonna happen and then all the survivors are gonna come immediately after, then what does it matter what they do first? If that's the point,
Wait, what do you mean?
like no matter what, if the ending is they're all gonna die and then people are gonna come out and it's all fine, then it doesn't really matter what we see leading up to that.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't know that people are going to be there and everything.
No, I know,
so
but
be
like
fine,
from like
obviously.
the audience standpoint,
Yeah,
it's
but
like
you're
I
just-
could have watched like 10 minutes of them run out of stuff and then he does it. It's the same effect
Okay,
to
that's
me.
another film we can write. all in the Mistiverse.
I just thought like maybe a flash forward of like they sleep in the car. You know, it just felt
Yeah.
very sudden to me.
I think there have been
Because they
there's
didn't
so
have
many-
any food in the car.
Didn't have
Yeah.
any food, and it's been a very upsetting day, couple
Been
of
a
days
rough
for
couple
everyone.
of days.
I think
They
could
could not run the mist.
there
They
are
thought
s-
that they could.
That's and I feel like there are so many like plots that you think like, oh, this person's definitely going to make it. Like you don't think that Andre Braugher's going to die when you first start the movie.
Yeah.
You don't think you're like, oh, a love story between the army
They're
president.
becoming friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and then like all of those people systematically
Oh,
die.
I see. You're talking about
Yeah,
the other guy.
I
saying
was, but
Andre
then I went
Braugher.
with
yeah,
what you
love
said.
story. Okay, great.
Um,
I was thinking
but-
like buddy love story, but
No,
you meant
but
yes,
yes,
a
but you
budding.
did-
the
yes, no, but you
Sally
definitely
and the
think that.
guy.
The what?
Sally and the guy in the
Sally, yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
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 Where she's like, I don't want to do it here. And it's like, oh, you
This
should
isn't how I
have.
imagined it.
You should have. You're going to die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But like all
Oh,
of
her death is so.
yeah,
Ugh.
that's brutal.
That's
yeah.
I did remember that part. And I didn't know the context, but I just remembered big neck.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
It's like big head, big face, big a lot.
But it's like such a startling thing. This is going to sound so like anti-feminist, but to do it to someone so pretty was like something that I remembered from it.
Yeah.
It was like she was so pretty and then they made her so ugly.
That's horror movies have been doing that for centuries. Not true. Movies have not existed for centuries.
Ow.
Fact check.
I
Well,
like.
yeah, we don't fact check our podcast.
That's good.
Okay, wait. I don't know. I'm like,
9
are we staying
inches.
with the ending? Are we going back?
Yeah, keep going.
Go.
Finish
Yeah,
up the
yeah.
ending. What else you got to say?
No, I have stuff earlier. So if we're still on the
Oh.
ending.
Are
No,
we done with the end?
I thought it was worth talking about the ending because we can always come back to it, but now we can talk about these other plot points because sometimes they might
freely
interest.
leading up. Yes.
Yes, they might offer an interesting lens for the ending.
Yes.
I have one more
Okay,
thing to say
okay.
about the ending,
Yeah.
which is kind of what Jessica was saying about the reaction to the ending was really disheartening. And I was saying at the beginning that we were hinting at the catharsis that you don't really get from this movie,
Right.
and that this movie is kind of telling you that there isn't going to be a catharsis, which is what I like about it. Is it actually is setting you up, it's priming you for the ending. Like it's not like it comes out of nowhere. Just to differentiate it from a movie that I think that does this really poorly, is systematically one by one everyone dies, and it's so bleak, and it's just like just
like
nihilistic.
nihilist,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this movie I didn't think was that. First of all, there's like people like that survive at the end, but it also I love the ending even though it doesn't have a catharsis, because it does feel like it feels like the most upsetting thing that could happen, but that is what I want from this movie, and that's the end of my point.
I think it is probably the most upsetting thing that could happen, but there is also a catharsis in them dying on their own terms as opposed to
Yes.
being attacked by monsters, or also just that it's over for them.
Yes.
That they're not living in this hell.
Yeah. Well, also, it's just from a slightly more just zoomed out of any movie you're watching, it is frustrating when it's like for how you like almost assumed and implicit in the premise of watching a movie is that there's a unique premise to this movie. And then so many movies end the exact same way. Even horror movies, they
Right.
could take all these left turns and right turns, and then it's like, and then they win. And then
Yeah.
he hugs his wife, and then his son hugs his leg.
And then he thinks,
Wow, I could fuck my son. And then we get there's how many movies end with the scene of the father fucking the son, and it's like, great, everyone takes it out in the theater and masturbates to it, but then at the end of the day, we're still getting the same ending. No, but seriously,
But it's also like when you see the
The
mom
wife
in the
fucking the
spider,
daughter.
the mom in the spider web.
Yeah.
And like it's like, well, he's got a hot blonde next to him. I think it's gonna be okay.
Well, yeah.
Like new mom.
in the novella,
Yeah.
he and this woman fed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But then
really?
they took it out of this.
It seems like they're definitely hinting at it, but I'm glad it doesn't happen.
I do like the ending better than the idea of it just ending with them driving off.
Well,
there's
yeah, to that
no-
point,
I
like,
do
it is a
appreciate that.
specific
Yes,
end to a
it's like-
specific movie,
Yes.
which is cool.
Because I do sometimes, it depends on the movie, but I do get more frustrated sometimes with just the open ending.
Yeah.
Unless it's a
It has to be really well
independent
done.
movie that's like really sad and dramatic, then I tend to like those
See,
endings. But
to me, it's
but
like
for
it's-
horror, I
this-
don't like those
yeah.
endings.
For
It
pretty
feels
much,
like a cop out in
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
situation.
Because it
Like,
feels like
you
the
figure
story's
it
not
out.
over.
yes.
What's the end of your story?
You tell us.
I've seen
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many indie movies where it's like, should we go left or right?
End.
Left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
and-
good. That's a
yeah,
decision.
left is a decision.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at least
right,
left
right.
is-
And it's like the I guess the difference is when you can feel like sometimes you can feel like the writer legitimately knows.
Is
And
the
they're just
top
not
still
doing
turning?
Is the top still turning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Inception.
I got
yes.
it.
It's
It's like, did I not? I acted it out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
Is the top. But yeah, anyway. neither
There
here
is
nor
also an argument to be made that this ending is more hopeful than Stephen King's ending because it's not the characters that we're invested in, but it is more of a survival.
there.
Right.
It's about humanity.
Well,
as
and
a
I was
whole.
glad
Yeah.
that Marcia Gay Harden got kicked out
Oh
before.
yeah, it's so satisfying. I imagined if I watched that in the theater that everybody would cheer when she gets
You know,
shot.
I forgot exactly what had happened because it'd been so long, and in my brain, it wasn't the girl from Walking Dead. It was Marcia Gay Harden on the float.
Huh.
That's in my brain how I remembered it. So
Oh.
then when she got killed, I was like, oh, didn't.
Well, Steve
didn't
was saying
remember
that he remembered Andre Brower was on the tank
car
with him
at
at the
the
end.
Yeah.
yeah,
In the
right.
car.
Yeah.
not on
You
the-
rewrote
on
the
tank.
endings for yourselves.
Yeah.
The dream
Now-
version.
Now, speaking of Andre Brower,
Yeah.
in my memory,
Mhm.
okay, so he goes out into the mist, and then the rope comes back bloody.
Yeah.
But the rope, I think the guy's legs are not him. The guy's
No.
legs are the
cyclist,
big-
motorcycle
Yeah, the
guy.
motorcyclist.
No,
Biker.
not a
Do,
cyclist.
do they
Biker.
ever, do they
Yeah,
ever
cyclist.
confirm the brow
No.
man is dead?
No, I did some Googling too just to see if there were any
Okay.
interesting theories and
Okay.
nothing particularly interesting, just like either he died or he didn't. But it
Okay.
I mean it seems
Those are
to
two
suggest
great
that
theories.
he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Right.
think he did. It's like
What if he was just on the truck with that woman and her kids?
But he had,
and
like, his
waved
arms
at them?
crossed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Oh,
angry
he's
about
still
it.
I
upset.
still think it was a hoax.
that's the funny thing is that
I
he's
never
so
saw
mad.
tentacles.
He's so mad when he leaves. I thought that there would be, and he does say, like, maybe they believe it and they're just delusional. But it's like, you think that at a certain point he's like, okay, maybe they're wrong, but they weren't trying to fool me. They do believe
I was
this.
Yes,
complaining about
Benji
this.
was
I
I
was
think
like,
Yeah.
it's fear, though.
that's what Steven
That's
said.
it.
Yeah. Oh.
I was like,
It was denial.
yes. When
We're
they first say
mirroring
the
you
thing to
guys.
him, yes. When they first say the thing to him and he's like, rubber snake, yada yada. I was like, I totally buy that, and like that
Yeah.
seems like a great first reaction.
Also,
Yeah.
if anyone's like, come back to the storeroom or whatever, no, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Although-
going to stay here where everybody else is.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally fair. Although even that, it was like given the opening to the movie where he's like, "Let me give you a ride into town." In fact, actually, as I remember it, Andre Bauer asks for a
Yeah.
ride into
Are
town.
you
Yeah.
going into town?
So-
Yeah.
so
Cut
it's so
to.
it's not like, oh, you brought me to this store to pull a little prank on me.
Right.
What he has to assume is there is a disaster because there
Yeah.
is. It's like the mist, and now you're gonna play a little rubber snake prank on me because I sued you.
Right.
Which again, if it's fear, that's fine. But I was like, that can only that reaction in my understanding.
It's like a first beat, but not the
exactly.
continual.
So
yeah.
then, not only does it last for that whole scene, and that it doesn't change even there, but then even the scene when he's leaving, he's
Right.
like, "I still think you guys are fooling me."
Right.
Well, I do understand. I do understand what you guys are saying, but I do think that I love that in the movie people don't all have the same reactions to the same
Yeah.
things, and I do
Yeah.
think that in extreme emergency situations, that is a totally legitimate, like, real thing that happens to people.
Yeah. And
Yes.
talking about people having different reactions, when they are starting to worry about Mrs. Carmody, however you say it, and they say that she's our very own Jim Jones, I was like, they're acting like they're like a government afraid of being overthrown. Like,
Well, I think
what are
they
you worried
were.
No, I know, but what I'm
They
saying
were about
is-
to be overthrown.
I know. To me, it seemed in that moment so over dramatic. I was like, "What? She's just a lady." And so then it was satisfying, even though I know logically, oh, that's foreshadowing. Something's going to happen. I was
Right.
like, "How dangerous can she be?" And then it was cool to see. Oh, very,
Right.
because
Very
it
cool.
seemed like so.
histrionic on their part.
Yes, exactly.
yes.
That's a perfect
Well, and
word.
I was doing
Here
a little
for
bit of research,
you.
and IMDb tried to explain the wasp scene under the trivia.
Like locusts? Is that what it was supposed to be?
Well, they call it wasp in IMDb.
Okay.
I can't speak
Because
for
just
what
because
it is.
locusts are one of the
One of the
plagues.
plagues.
Yeah.
Do locusts sting?
I don't know.
Okay.
Or they think they just
Anyway,
eat your crops.
IMDb
Yes.
chose the word wasp, but it said on IMDb, it was like, she thinks that she was chosen because it didn't sting her. In actuality, it might just be because she was standing perfectly still, and bees don't really sting you if you're standing still.
I like the open-endedness of that too. Like, I think there really is a case to be made in either direction.
I mean, that is a good. That moment is a good argument for your overall thing that she's hip to what's going on.
That was the
Yeah.
first moment where I thought, oh, she really is like some sort of
Right.
prophet,
Right.
chosen person.
Now, Stephen and I are
scene is so
afraid
crucial.
of bees.
Bees are the great equalizer,
Yeah, you can be the strongest, toughest big boy in the world.
but you should be scared of a bee.
One time, Steve and I were at the mustard seed, and there was a bee, and we almost killed it. And then a mean man said, "Don't kill it!" Like
That's
we
true.
were.
Yeah, they're
And it-
dying already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need
but this was
them.
this was
Just don't be
pre
afraid,
the
and it
bee
won't sting you.
genocide.
Yeah, they
They
die
smell
when they
fear.
sting you.
Yes.
So they'll only sting you if
When
they
I
have
was
to.
14 years old, I had been stung 14 times,
Oh my
once a
God.
year, every year of my life.
On the same day.
Yeah, I'd been stung.
Not his birthday, interestingly
I
enough.
had been stung in my belly button. I had been stung on my lip.
I got stung inside my ear once.
I got stung inside
Oh,
my
that
ear
sounds
once.
awful.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah, and so I don't care
I've
much
never
for
been
the bee
stung
folk.
by a bee. Never.
I've never been
Really?
stung by
Yeah.
a bee, but I've been stung by yellow jackets.
Aren't they kind of bee? No.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not a bee. Yellow jacket's not dying out.
Okay.
Yellow jacket
fuck
is to
them.
be as like a satsuma is to an orange.
It's more like, I think a yellow jacket's more like a wasp.
Okay.
Yes.
Or
Okay.
like a mandarin.
Because they're
I don't know
big.
anything.
Tangerine.
They're in
Mandarin's a
Texas and they're
tangerine.
awful.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, they
cool.
hurt more. This
Yeah.
stings.
Yeah.
Got stung by a wasp on my leg once.
This is really dumb.
Number 12.
Imagine
But-
how bad it hurt that big one.
Were you counting that one as a bee?
The, oh,
The big one's in this one.
Oh.
I don't okay, bugs are fine. But when you see them like that, where they're in such big numbers, like, and they're so monstrous
Well,
in
like,
size,
turn
even
off
with
the
the
lights.
effect.
Why are they turning on the lights? This is so they are like moths to a flame, and then
Yeah,
they
if that's
turn on the
that
emergency
was in my
lights.
notes too. Immediately, I was like, "Hey, turn off the lights."
Yeah, turn them off. What are you
I've
doing?
had a bug zapper
Yeah,
before.
we've all seen Jurassic Park by this point.
Yeah, right.
I saw it once, kind of drunk in 3D.
Wait,
That's it?
what?
That's it. I
And
know.
that
How are
is
we not
crazy to
doing
me.
that for this podcast
Wow.
right
We
now?
could do Jurassic
You,
Park.
you should watch.
We'll do the
Jurassic
Blob and then Jurassic Park. You guys are
Great.
great, so we'll.
I
have you
love the
back.
blob.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
excited about it just
But
because
also-
all three of you like it.
Talk more about how great we are for just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
second.
because you were saying something
you
earlier.
guys are pretty good. And
You
yeah,
said
I'm happy to
great.
be around you. Oh, sorry, great, pretty great.
Yeah.
I got nervous. This doesn't make any sense, but when they're leaving the grocery store to go to
the-
like the pharmacy,
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, "Bring bags. How are you gonna?" And they, I'm sure they have them at the CVS too, but there's definitely bags like at the checkout. Like you're
Surely
trying to
someone's
grab as
donated
many
to
as you
NPR.
can.
You have a tote.
Yeah. Well, there's all the like plastic. I'm not
Right.
plastic. The paper brown
Yeah,
bags
yeah.
there. Like just bring them so
Yeah.
you're not
That had my scariest image in it. In the
Ooh,
pharmacy.
where he falls and the bugs spill
Oh,
out of
out
him.
of
Yep,
body,
that's
yeah.
the one. Being
That's a good
like
one.
all
That
those
was
little
good.
spiders on the ground like that.
Oh.
It was like, leave everybody, get out of there.
I was
so
frustrated
good.
by the kind of trying to tie the monsters to like real world things where it's like they're spiders, but they're hell spiders, or they're bees, but they're hells. It was like just make them a little different. They don't need to have the threads. What's it called? Web.
Yeah.
Web.
yeah, the
Yeah.
acid web.
Acid
Yeah.
web.
I didn't mind the acid web because I thought that was cool when it like cuts his leg.
That was cool.
I thought the tentacle part was cool when as soon as it like touches you, it's like skin is just gone.
Yes.
I
where it,
thought that
like,
effect
Oh,
was
like
cool.
rips it off you.
Yeah,
that
like
was
there was no
cool.
sound because I don't like sound. There was no sound or anything. It was just like gone. Like that's
Yeah.
how easy.
Yeah.
I did think that part. I know the tentacles didn't look great, but that effect, I was like,
Also-
oh, this
Well, the
shit
gore
will
is the
fuck
best
you
part
up.
of that
Yeah.
of the scene because it's the most realistic part.
When they poke the tentacle, I thought that was well done.
Yes.
The-
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
that's
practical.
a practical tentacle.
Yeah.
And then
I
it
know.
disappears. And I was like, oh no, Andre Brower
I
didn't
thought I had
see
the
it.
same thought, and then
But
he never comes back
we were
there
ta-
anyway. But I had that same. I was like, he's not going to believe
He's not
you.
going to believe you.
We had a discussion about this exact moment because
You guys had too many discussions beforehand.
I know. Well, we
Yeah,
were like,
save it
what are we
next
gonna
time.
say? Okay, we should, but it's weird because it's like they do, and we were like they do like the fade to black and then they fade up, which
Yeah.
we like.
Yeah,
we-
I thought the fade to black was weird.
There were a
Yes.
lot of
So
fades.
there's
There
a
are
lot of fades, but
fades.
I actually for this movie I like it because it's not a single location real time where it's like 2 hours, which is what they do a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it allows you to kind of deal with different situations.
Yeah.
Like just get past there's not the immediacy of like having to deal with like one thing after another. It's kind of like, right, if people are like kind of hanging around for a while,
It
what's
almost
next?
feels like acts in a play where it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
But-
That kept making me feel like we were further along, though. Because
Yes,
at
it
some
definitely
point, they were
did.
like, it's been 2 days. And I was like, what?
It's only been 2 days. Yeah.
I thought it was like a week.
yeah, right.
But it was weird that they did it after the tentacle moment, because to us that was saying to the audience, now the reality is everyone knows that the monsters are real.
Right.
Because like the thing kind of fades down, and at first like you're going like, oh no, not everyone's gonna see it, but then it like fades to black, and you're like, oh, I guess that doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
then Andre Braugher's like, but then there
Still
are
doesn't
still people
believe
who
it.
don't
Yeah.
believe, and it's like it was a frustrating communication of those
Also,
ideas.
where do they think the grocery boy went?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
if you don't believe it,
Yes.
Yeah.
he's
This is
hiding.
why I wanted, like, if they had brought Andre Braugher in and it sizzled away right before he saw it,
Yeah.
then I would be like,
It helps that.
I would be
Yeah.
like, he has every reason to be like, you motherfuckers.
You
you're
told
lying
me
to
there was something
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
there.
I would have been
Nothing.
so frustrated by that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those. I was
So
frustrated
upsetting
by
in
the
those
sizzling.
moments.
I was like, ugh, it's like not.
There's
that,
our proof.
Yeah, exactly. It's what it actually is a turn, like those kinds of things in movies where it's like, no, the person, like getting a person to believe something in a movie where it's just
Yes.
like, just.
It's funny
Believe
because
it.
I agree with you 100%, but you like that Andre Braugher doesn't believe him.
I know, but I
Right,
wouldn't.
right.
I wouldn't have like. I would have been very frustrated if it was like he just missed seeing the thing.
I agree. It would be more frustrating, but it'd be more earned.
Yes.
I think it'd be frustrating in a way that I could empathize
Yeah.
with. Instead, I was
A way that I
frustrated
could
where I was
get
like, I
behind.
actually don't understand.
Oh well, why don't
Yeah.
you guys become writing partners and directing partners together?
I'm down. Okay, let's do it.
So-
No.
Can we also take a moment, and maybe this was just me, but I feel like
Uh-oh.
the kid very quickly is concerned about his mom, and our
As he should be.
protagonist is not at all concerned about his wife
Got this hot
until
new
like
piece.
the
Yeah,
third
so
quarter of the movie.
Yeah.
He like doesn't care.
Right after halftime, yeah.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I
not
will say
worried
one
about
thing
her.
I was surprised at is like there's a lot to be made about there's this kid in the store, you know?
Yes.
And then at one point when the bugs are flying around, we see a girl holding her daughter, another little girl, and I
Yeah,
was like,
they're-
why are the kids together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Why
we
is
never
there
see what
another kid we
happens
haven't seen?
Yes.
to that other little girl.
Support.
Yeah. And then we never, at least I don't remember seeing her again, but I was
No, I
like,
was
there's
looking for
another
her.
kid?
Yeah,
It
you
does
They
see
feel
should
that
be
kid.
friends. Maybe they're
Oh,
soulmates.
friends.
Yes.
Maybe they are, but he's
Too
dead,
late.
so-
Romeo and
Right.
Juliet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did that bug anybody else? Where you're like, do you care about your probably dead wife?
I didn't. No, it didn't bother me because in my brain I'm like, he can put it aside and be like, okay, maybe she's just fine. I just got to get out of here. Like
Is she just fine though?
that's how I would do. You got to deal with your current situation
I guess.
I get. I
because he doesn't know how far the fog goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's a bad.
Or the
husband.
mist.
Yeah.
God
yeah.
damn
They
it.
should.
The
There
mist,
should have
the
been a
mist.
scene where he like is like.
Goes to be by himself and has
Yeah,
a cry.
and,
or
yeah, and has a
Yeah.
cry. Looks at
Yeah.
a picture, has a cry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
He's
realized?
a man. He can't.
Yeah, he can't cry. That's true.
he
Gotta
could go
take charge.
look at the picture, have a
Wank.
a wink. Okay.
Well, because you guys keep talking about jacking off to little boys.
I didn't say
No,
Jack.
we're
I was
talking
talking
about
fucking
fucking
little
them.
boys.
Sorry. Okay.
Jacking. What are we?
You
Can I
just
tell you-
want other fluid to come out
Can I
when
tell
he's
you-
upset.
Oh, yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of
to try
crying.
out of his wiener.
Right. Cries from his dick. What were you going to say? Can I tell you what?
Just a weird thing that I realized about this movie is that it opens with a storm, but then the storm is unconnected.
Wait,
It's
I
an
really
electrical
missed-
storm.
Oh.
I think
That's
it
what
is
takes
supposed-
all the power out.
Yeah, I know, but it's bad. I agree.
I was
It's-
like,
it's
it just
confusing.
don't have the beginning storm.
Well,
just
I thought
have
the
some other
electrical
reason.
storm. Maybe I just don't understand how anything
I thought
works,
it
but
was-
could be tied to the military base.
Yeah,
which-
that's
Yes,
what I
yes.
thought was it was the
That must-
window opening,
yeah.
as they say
Yes,
later.
That's got to be
Yeah.
it. But it was raining, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's because there
It's-
were rain sound effects
there-
that I heard while the rain was raining.
So you really should have noticed that. But yeah,
It's
I was
sound
like,
effects.
it's two storm things. And they
Yeah.
felt disconnected. But maybe what you're saying is right, where it is connected, where
I
it's
wonder
like
if
that.
there's-
Yeah, I
that
thought that
college,
was like the
mix.
catalyst.
I wonder if there's anything biblical to like my grandfather's tree because there's so many biblical
so
overtones
weird.
and undertones.
Yeah, that was
Grandfather's
strange.
tree.
Yeah.
Grandfather's tree.
It was
think
the
that's a
very
nothing.
open. It was so bizarre.
That smashes
Yeah.
through
It's
the house.
so weird. Oh
Yeah.
my stupid
Meanwhile, a
fucking
different
paintings.
tree fell through the car.
right. Two trees.
One property.
I
Love it.
learned a few words from Mrs. Carmody. I learned puling, where she said, "Cut your chicken shit whining, or I will cut your puling tongue out." Did you know that?
No.
Also, she says piousness. I thought only piety was a
Piety,
word,
yeah.
but piousness is also a word.
That's like satiety and
Satiated. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
sated also.
Sated, yes.
It's
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Or is there also
Both.
satiation?
No. We'll get back to you on that one, Benji.
Anyway, this was good for my vocabulary.
Guys,
Wait, what is puling?
Puling is cry querulously or weakly.
What, isn't there also mewling that also
Yes.
means like whimper?
Whoa. All right. These are your words of
Yeah.
the day.
Gist.
The gist. The one time I jumped, my one jump scare was in the pharmacy. And to your point, when you guys were talking about humor and whatever, scaring somebody, but it's just the guy, but then he's farting, but it's a dangerous fart.
Yeah.
That was gold. That was
Call
real
back,
gold.
call back.
But there's a
pendant.
moment where there's like a smash, but it's just somebody like knocking something over.
Yeah.
And that was my one jump scare. Where
Really?
I actually jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody
There you
else
go.
jump there? No?
No, mine's not about jump scare. Mine's about when he hits his head in the beginning.
Oh, mine is just that it isn't a movie that is predicated. It's not a lot of jumpy
Yeah.
scares. It's a lot more like horror.
And
I thi-
psychological
dread and
scares.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
a
I
lot
think
of
my
dread.
scare was the first bug that landed. I knew something was coming, and then it just hits with such a hard thud
Yeah.
on the play class.
that
Yeah.
I don't know if it jump scared me, but it was unsettling.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
was like a very unsettling moment.
Now,
Yeah.
do you guys just as horror movie new fans and old fans? Because I a lot of times fans do separate into camps. Where like some people love jumpy jump scares like that. They want to go just jump.
I'm raising my hand.
Got it. And
Yeah,
you like
Jessica
a more
loves it.
plotting, dread filled.
You know, I think
She likes more
via
character
Jessica,
development.
via Jessica, I'm like learning. I'm starting to enjoy the jump
Oh,
scares a little
good.
more.
Yeah.
Like I jumped and I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like, and I remember in high school, I
I
hated
love
it.
jump scares.
I was
Same,
terrified.
same.
I was like, the worst
You got
thing in the
angry.
world is to have a jump scare.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
don't do
I'm-
that to me.
If I
Yeah.
watch a scary movie and like I miss the jump, I'm mad.
Right. It's like you didn't get to go down the drop on the roller
Yes,
coaster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
a good
going
way
to a
to put it.
haunted house and like not getting the scares. I waited in line for what?
Yeah.
To just walk through and watch
No,
other
I was
people get
very
scared?
anti, and
No,
now
thank you.
I can get behind a jump scare.
Yeah.
Now I'm enjoying it. But what scared me the most, and what I found myself having to like not think about at night, is when Private Jessup, who really is a victim of 90s overplucking. if
I was
we're
going to
being
say, those eyebrows
Oh
were
my gosh.
so gorgeous.
I had to look him up just to see what they look like now, and they look normal.
Be
Oh, good.
natural.
Yeah.
This-
Let it grow out.
Did you not
as a-
notice?
As a man
Maybe
with
it was a
bushy
character
eyebrows.
choice.
Yeah, you know, I actually didn't notice,
Wow.
and I feel like I'm actually kind of eyebrow noticey.
Wow.
Well,
I feel like
he-
I have Michael Keaton.
You
situation going on.
do. You totally do. I hadn't
Thank
noticed
you.
that. They were very distracting to me. Jessica, did you notice?
No.
Wow.
Well,
Just
yeah.
me and Steven.
Well,
Not
also,
bad.
it was just weird to me because he was very well groomed for
like an army man.
for an army man.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I did notice. I kind of just was like, he's very pretty for
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he would be pretty either way, but the eyebrows.
As a bushy eyebrowed man, I say let it grow.
Yeah, let it grow.
I wonder how soft the inside of his mouth is if I were to get a finger in there.
This is a callback to something that
That was
Oh, we
not
got
on
that
mic.
on the podcast.
So
Before
it
the
sounds-
podcast, I put
sounds
my
really
finger
random.
in someone's mouth and it was silky in there.
Okay, so the scariest moment to
Not
me.
someone in this room though. Clarify.
Nope. It
It was
years
Jessica.
ago.
Jessica doesn't even remember it. She's
Cut
blocked
this
it out.
part out.
He gets stabbed, and she shouts, "Feed him to the beast." And the way that his hands are curled up, they're like sort of claw-like as they're passing him to the front of the
Yeah.
store. It's like the most terrifying crowd surf I've ever seen.
Yes.
And super Lord of the Flies. And then he's like grasping at the edges, trying
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
That to me was,
It was
the
brutal.
scariest
And then he
part.
puts his bloody hand on the door.
Yeah.
Can't
They
go
But the
won't
wrong.
let him
lead
in.
up to it was like the stabbing was. I think it's still in keeping with like torture scares me the most. So I thought he was going to die from the stabbing, and the fact that he's like got all these stab wounds, and he's betrayed by everyone there, and he's also just lost two of his friends.
Yes.
And
Now, how would that have felt
Ugh.
if Sally had still been alive and she was in the crowd trying to stop it?
Mm.
oh
But I'm just saying it would have added to the scene to have her there
yeah,
instead of killing her off so soon.
I was kind
Which
of
bummed
glad
me
because I was
out.
like, at least they're both dead together now.
Right.
I know,
made
but
it-
it would have made it more
Maybe
bleak if
another
she was
movie
still
in the
there.
Mistverse is them
True.
in heaven
Yeah.
doing all the positions.
She was
not in
saving
the
herself for heaven. Yeah. But that was legit terrifying to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt very anxious during that scene.
Yes.
I do think that I actually was surprised by how upsetting all of like the human to human interaction in the movie
Yeah.
are. Sorry to keep hammering home at it, but that is
The monsters within.
Yes, I do think that like the kid crying at the beginning was also one of the most upsetting parts to me, where like
Yeah.
Thomas Jane like walks off with him and he's just super scared because I was like, this feels so real.
That kid is a good actor.
He was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
I looked him up on IMDb and saw him and like what he looks like now.
9 inches. I'm just kidding.
He's only 9 inches tall. That's what you mean, right?
Yep.
No, but he's like, and then he turns and they grow up so fast, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yes.
Yeah, what is he doing now?
I don't know. I just saw the little picture and I was like, oh, he grew up into a man, but then I didn't click on it.
Wow.
You just had to know that he grew up into
Yeah.
a man.
Yeah.
He
They grow up
died
so
2
fast,
years
don't they?
after.
But yes, that him getting dragged out, I was like, ooh, really upsetting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing that I had to actively not think about before bed.
Wow.
Even though the ending is so upsetting, that to me was
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
most.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can't.
dreadful.
Given what time you texted us, wow. I'm actually amazed. That's late before bed to be watching. the horror
Yeah,
movie.
it's
Yeah.
true. Look at me, I've
It was-
come a long way.
I think it was an 11:09 text. Obviously.
Is that real?
Yeah.
I like that they let the supermarket manager back in at the end.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, they don't leave him out to die. That was cool.
Is it because Marcia Gay Harden's dead, so
I
they don't know?
think
They don't know what to
so.
do now.
Yeah, I
They're like,
think
"Are we
so.
committed to being mean?" I don't remember.
Right. Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
And she
Also,
dies Christ-like.
Yes, she
her
does.
arms out.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny they just use that fucking Christ shit in just so many movies, and it's supposed to be so
They
resonant.
used
Yeah.
that fucking Christ shit.
Well, it's kind of better here because she specifically believes in
Yes,
like
yes.
It's great. in
And
this.
God
she
of
says,
the
"I'm your
Hebrews.
vessel" so
But
many
it's
times.
Yeah.
about the least subtle thing you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Having someone die in cross formation is like, we get it.
Yeah.
Brah.
The Christ.
Although
You're the
I could
Christ. We love
almost
him.
see her as she's getting killed making a point of falling in that.
Totally, yes.
She was
Yes.
thinking that before she got that second
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's like, all right, if I'm doing this,
My
I'm
goal
committing.
is to die with the West Side hands, so I like with Tupac West Side hands. so I understand where she's going. Where she has her own goals.
Kind of the same thing, yeah.
Absolutely, it's my
Uh,
religion.
Did you guys see that 3 days ago? I just think this is such crazy timing. Thomas Jane, and I guess this is maybe his producing partner, Courtney Lauren Penn, launched Renegade Entertainment and team with Stephen King for Thriller. And it's
Whoa.
like unclear if it's going to be a movie or a
Wait,
series or
I
what.
did see this.
This
And-
just happened. Yeah.
Wait, wasn't it they were going to do like one story where it's like, why are you doing that story?
From a Buick 8? I don't know
Yes,
anything
yes.
about it, but yeah.
Okay, I actually haven't read it, so I don't want to insult the more avid
the
King readers out
synopsis
there.
seems
But it's one of,
not that
it seems like we
of all the Stephen King.
I'm not going to see it, and I love Stephen King. I'm not going to watch
Well,
in the tall
we all
grass.
stopped watching every. It used to be like, oh, another Stephen King thing. I'll watch it. And now it's like, oh, everything's a Stephen King thing.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
we're watching a lot for this podcast.
we are.
Well, that's because he's. I mean, some of the
Yeah.
great horror.
So
films
it's like
are.
we're going through ones that I hadn't seen.
Yeah, and some of the
Example.
great non-horror, like
Uh,
Shawshank Redemption or
We saw
Love
Misery.
Stand By Me,
Yeah.
We did Misery. We did Pet Cemetery.
The
Have you
Shining.
done The Shining? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd seen that one.
Carrie.
We haven't done Carrie yet.
Carrie.
Carrie
a
is
great movie.
fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
But so
in
this is our
years.
fourth Stephen King?
I feel like there's one more that maybe
It?
no,
And we had Steven Weber who was in The Shining.
maybe that's all I was
Whoa.
thinking.
Maybe that's why you think it's another one?
Yeah, maybe.
Wait,
but
who's Stephen Weber in The Shining?
he's in,
in
the
the
Shining
TV version.
Oh,
show.
oh.
He's Jack.
He was Jack.
Oh.
So we got some cool stories from him on that. But I
Did
just
you
love
ask
Yeah.
any Party Down stories?
was
No,
he
we
on Party
didn't.
Down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the best episodes.
I don't remember.
It's a great.
Oh,
it's a
I
great
got to go
show.
back. I think
No,
I
it was a
didn't know
horror
who he was.
podcast.
Oh, right.
We also didn't ask about wings.
We didn't.
I used to watch a lot of Wings when I was sick at home because it was on
nice.
a little thing.
It was
called-
on USA.
Yes, and what they called it when they played it in the morning was USAM.
Very nice. The final song I read was "The Host of Seraphim" by Dead Can Dance.
Wait,
And
wait,
yeah.
like in the one where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh, where it plays forever.
I hated
the name
that.
of the band. You hated it.
This song, it was just so.
I fast forwarded through all that, by the way. Once I realized there was no dialogue, I hit fast forward.
Oh my god.
But
too
I
uploaded.
didn't know I was
You've seen
gonna.
it before.
And I also was like running short on time because it was so much longer than I thought, and I was like,
Yeah.
I have to record.
Maybe it shouldn't have been 2 hours. We could
Yeah.
all agree on
Yes.
that.
no.
A very
liked
music.
An hour 50. It could have been an hour 50. Okay.
All right. Maybe.
It's a very music light movie,
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
which I think is really good. It helps it feel super grounded.
Yeah.
Like it's not editorialized by music.
Yes. And
well,
I'm
and I
always
love that
impressed.
it's basically one.
Contained. Yes.
Yeah,
We're saying,
we're
yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing. I always love when they can. It's so hard to
Same.
pull off.
It's,
Yeah.
It's very hard to make that as entertaining as they do.
That would be cool to see as a play on Broadway.
It
The
would-
Mist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a,
That's a good
Yes.
idea.
I
Right?
love that idea.
Wouldn't
in
that be
this
good?
IP cannibalizing itself world.
Make it a musical, and the
Oh
bugs
my
are like
gosh.
dancers.
That would be
bugs
great.
are coming. They're spiders.
It would be, and then they could have a practical like tentacle.
Yeah,
and it would be
and
way
but
better.
Yeah.
The bugs could be like Cirque du Soleil people.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That's actually
Sounds
pretty
good.
cool.
Where it's like
I'd
two
go
people
see it.
doing one
Copyright.
bug costume.
I don't know how to go about making this happen. But
Trademarked.
I would. That's all you have to do is say trademarked.
I love that she gets stoned. Marcia Gay Harden
Yes.
Yeah.
gets stoned by the
Oh, I
old
thought
lady,
you meant like
and
gets
she's
high. I see.
Yeah.
It took
oh
me
no,
a
that
second.
she's like, that's in
Stoning
your
was-
book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of those things.
That part made me laugh.
That was good.
I feel like the stoning and the Christ thing and the like is like, and the like all the religious stuff is like, what is the point that they're trying to make
Yeah.
by it? It's like
Yeah, do you know
Choose
the
one.
answer?
choose one.
And so
if you
you-
want to follow the Christ, if you want to be the Christ, be the Christ.
No one's saying don't be the Christ.
Be the Christ.
Be the Christ you want to see in the world.
I guess I don't know the.
You're saying it was a problem for you that it was sort of unclear?
No, I like.
I feel like that's how just religion is. Everyone's got a different take.
There was too. It was
They're
too
all
much
in it.
like see how get the cool religion thing that
right.
we're
See,
doing
there's like a
here
metaphor
and
about-
here and here.
That's
I
what I
don't
was
know.
saying before, where it's like movies love doing all this Christ shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like
This
like,
fucking Christ
this fucking
shit.
Christ shit. Well, it is just it's the simplest way to be like it's
It's
actually
meaningful.
profound. Like,
Yes.
Oh,
do you know
yeah.
that John Connor's initials are JC, Jesus Christ.
Same with Jackie
I
Chan.
didn't know
Jackie
that.
Chan. Jackie Chan. That's why they named him Jackie Chan.
No,
That's
I
true.
meant about John Connor.
Yeah, but
I put the Jackie Chan thing together a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Have you guys ever heard the potentially apocryphal story, potentially real story, that they wouldn't cast anyone in The Passion of the Christ whose
Yes.
initials weren't
Oh.
JC?
Oh my
No.
gosh.
That one I didn't know.
Jim Carrey they
Caviezel.
went out to.
It's Jim Carrey. They went out to Jackie Chan.
Oh my gosh. I wonder
I
if
would
that's true.
love to see the Jackie Chan, The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, he would not lose the fight to those
You're right.
Romans.
Yeah,
I
he's
feel
like,
like one person told me they hated Jews and cited the Passion of the Christ as like evidence
Really?
of why
Like,
the Jews are
Is
bad.
there evidence?
Yes.
When we were
Yes.
growing up when that movie came out,
I'm sorry.
there
Yeah.
was like
They were
at
like,
our-
Jews are bad. I know. I saw this
Yeah, I saw-
documentary, The Passion of the
Wow.
Christ.
As someone who doesn't have to deal with this, I'm sorry for all the
Yeah.
that's non-Jew.
Thank you. Thanks, Jessica.
Well-
You're the minority in this room as a non-Jew for
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, not religious.
You guys might be the first. Oh no, Stephen Weber. But otherwise, you might be the only Jews. on
Stephen
it.
Wow.
No,
Weber's Jew?
Amir.
Oh yeah, Amir, the guy that I
Amir
live with.
Should we just
Sounds
name
Jewish.
all of the Jews? Just name how we
Hollywood.
Schindler's
were.
the list. That's true. I think that was it. No Jewish ladies. Oh, Amalia. Okay, never
Okay,
mind.
so
I was-
so many.
I was scratching all
I
of
would
this.
say you need to
So I've been the minority
expand your
before.
friend group.
No, because now you're really. I guess so. Now you're really outnumbered.
Yeah, it's real bad.
They're growing.
I will just tell you one thing about the Passion of the Christ, which is that when it came out in our like high school, Sunday school, Hebrew school, everyone, all the Jews in Berkeley were so freaked out. They were like, and we're having talks after
Oh my
class.
gosh.
If anyone's freaked out about this Passion of the Christ thing happening,
This fucking Passion of the
this
Christ.
fucking Passion of the
Oh my
Christ shit
gosh.
happening.
Wait, so then it's your takeaway? You were like, it was too much, like over the top religious imagery.
I mean,
Hit you
I
over
never
the
saw
head.
that movie.
Oh, you're saying in the mist.
in the
Yeah,
mist,
man.
yeah.
Oh,
I
I've
Yeah,
never
we're,
seen
we're,
the
we're
Mist.
still doing the gist.
I was more just getting frustrated at the concept of trying to seem profound by doing all of this religious stuff where it's like choose one moment to make your religious point. But I also I don't know if as I'm saying it, I don't
You
know
don't
if I
have to
agree
stand
with
behind
what
it.
I'm saying. So
I
I'm
will tell
gonna
you,
let
I
that
ag-
sit like a bad fart in the room. and
I
let
liked
you
the
guys
idea,
smell it.
though, that Marcia Gay Harden goes on this tirade about you did this with your science and your abortion and your splitting, and she just starts
Yes.
naming a bunch of sciencey things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it's like, oh, this was a science experiment gone
Yes.
wrong.
Which
So,
is more argument in your favor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say about all the religious stuff. Is what I like and what I think is really hard to pull off is to have so much religious stuff and walk away having a really strong case for it and against it. I think that's hard to pull off.
Yes.
Where I'm like, I fully am on board with the scenario where she's right about everything, and the scenario where she's like a crazy
Right.
religious zealot.
Yes.
Although they're not necessarily mutually exclusive.
and they were
Yes.
just coincidences.
Right.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Just fake news. Yeah.
The pharmacy next door apparently is called King's Pharmacy, which
Stephen King.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Very
That's
good.
fun.
Okay, if you are anyone in this movie, who are you?
Great question.
Can we take out the pause?
Yeah.
Think about it for a second?
Yeah. Maybe I'll leave a little one so it's believable, but it
Yes.
doesn't have to be as long.
No,
as
you
it
should
is.
just like chop it so that as soon as you finish, it's like
Ready.
This person.
God, my
I know
eyebrows
I'm-
are really great. So I want to say.
You can't be that guy.
Right.
Well, but he took a lot of care with them, and they are noticeable, and I feel like mine are too.
Okay. Okay.
No one notices your eyebrows. There's only one
Weirdly, my
person
dad
driving
was-
this eyebrow narrative.
Weirdly, my dad one time was like, "You have really big eyebrows," and I was like, "Oh, how dare you!" Benji just farted into the microphone.
Did you hear it? I couldn't hear
Just the
anything.
tiniest bit.
I turned a microphone upside down and pointed it at my butthole.
In the year 2000, we called that weak sauce.
Yeah, that was a weak sauce
That was
part.
not a great.
It was
part.
like, I'll recreate it with my mouth now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just like a chef's kiss, but like on mute.
Everyone take a smell, though. All right, who are we in this movie? Let's all focus, guys.
Pressure is on.
Yeah. Do
I
you
wonder
feel
if
like
we'll all
you
have
I don't.
different
I don't.
answers.
I don't think
It'd be
I have a
great
good
if we
one.
all had the
I
same
don't know.
answer.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
well,
you
You
guys
want
go.
your
You guys
ours?
go. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, I would be the old lady
Oh,
for sure. I thought she was great.
she's so cool.
I like how she was with William Sadler. She's like, I'm going right behind you,
Yeah.
like forcing him out to do
yes,
it.
Good.
Wait,
And she stoned Marcia Gay Harden. I was on
So that's
is
board.
that who you
wanna-
want to be?
I think that's who I'd be in the situation.
Okay.
I was gonna say that's who I want to be, but that's
Yes.
not who I am.
Okay,
I'm
'cause it's
surprised you
slightly
say that
different
actually,
pressure.
because she's also like, I'd rather die out there fighting whatever this is than in here, and I feel like
Yeah.
that would not be you. You'd be
No,
like,
I would've
I'll
wanted
hide in
to
the
leave.
grocery
I'm a
No,
stay in
with
the
all
grocery
this,
store.
religion makes me
Yeah,
very
me too.
uncomfortable. So I probably
Would
like
want to leave.
I would have wanted to leave with Andre. Like I would have been like, this is
Oh.
getting intense.
But
Yeah.
you'd put your faith behind Jane.
I would
Thomas
go, yeah,
Jane.
Thomas Jane, yeah.
Yeah,
and his
okay.
wife, Jane Thomas. Yeah.
All right, that's good. I love her. I wish I was her. I'm not her. I'm one of the soldiers who hangs themselves out of guilt, certain it's my fault. Whatever is going wrong,
Wow.
I'm certain I have a hand in it. This is fucked. I'm sorry. I'm out. That's
Great.
me.
Great.
Those are two strong answers.
Great. I'm going to say I have two answers.
Oh,
I think I am the child.
you at first. I was like, I'm doing
I was
nothing.
like, I'm a passive observer and I take a bullet to the face. That's who I am.
First, you go into shock.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I stay in the
I'm
store.
glad someone's the kid. He's very cute and he's a very good actor.
They had to kill a kid first, right, in the car.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they
okay.
had to.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with that. I had a joke
Ooh.
answer.
Oh, what's the joke answer?
I'm the tentacle monster.
I thought you were gonna say that.
I didn't
I
love
saw
it,
it
so I
coming.
sort of soft pitched it.
Yeah.
I,
For anybody that can't see, Benji just thought about
I-
putting the mic by his butt again,
Yeah,
but then
by-
thought
by
better
his
of it.
Fart hole. I think I would. It's too annoying of an answer. I'll give it to you, but then I'll rescind it because it's too annoying of an answer. I see a lot of myself in the characters. No, but I do think that I would have. I think the.
That's actually not that annoying. I thought you were going to say that you saw yourself in Thomas Jane.
That's
That
what I
you-
thought.
Oh no, not at all. No, the denial, like the fear and the denial in Andre Braugher, and then also the like the false confidence of the shop boy, and then also I want to be the guy who's in all the Frank Darabont movies, who's kind of like happy-go-lucky and makes it to the top 5, but then
This
doesn't
is
make
great.
it far.
I think this is actually a great
You're
answer.
saying the guy, yeah, the older man in the
The
car?
older man who's trying to be
Yeah.
helpful but isn't taking the lead. But I actually think that I would.
He's the same man who says the mistook John Lee, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like
yes,
him.
yes.
He's got, I saw him do King Lear one time, where he was King Lear.
Was he amazing?
He was really great.
Okay.
And then his giant tentacle trapeze artist.
Is there another character, or that's it?
I don't.
You're kind of. I mean, I think you're making a great point, which is that because that kind of is the premise of the movie. Is
They're all pieces of you.
yeah. I mean, they're all
Like Jewel says.
It's funny. Yes, it's funny because in a lot of ways the movie plays a lot of foolish games, but I also think that I was meant for it and it was meant for me. So no, but I
Very
seriously.
And you are lying naked on the
That's
back.
Natalie
That's,
Imbruglia.
yeah, come on, Steve.
I think
Sorry,
also
guys.
the Toby Jones character.
Yes,
I could see myself as
that was
one
going to be my.
too.
At first,
Yeah.
I was going to say that, but that's more. I like want.
You would
Yeah.
want to be.
I want to be that level-headed.
Yeah, and that great of a shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could never.
Me neither.
But I
no,
read
but
a
I could probably do it with a rock, like the old lady.
yes.
Hit her in the face.
all right.
But
I
I-
have more respect for you.
I read a
now,
review of this movie today by
Uh-huh.
Justin Chang, who I will just publicly say I do not like his reviews. He's now the reviewer for the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah.
And he reads his reviews on fresh air.
That's where I hear him too.
But he was the reviewer for Variety when this movie came out. And he was like, all the characters are too one-dimensional, which I think is true, but a bad analysis, because I think what Steven's saying about who he would play or who he sees himself as is how the characters function much more. I think there is a lot of one-dimensionality where they are representative of a reaction to the problem,
Right.
but I don't think that that's bad. I think that's a choice the movie's making.
Yeah, because there are so many people. They can't all be like
These like
super complex
Yeah,
characters.
yes.
They have to represent one point of
And
view.
I think in that moment, we all become reduced to whatever our reaction is to the crisis.
yes, and that's the point of making a horror movie is to
Yeah.
reduce people to that thing, so that
Right.
It's like your basest instincts.
Yes.
and how do different people? What are different people's
Yeah.
basis instincts?
I wonder if I think almost the least fleshed out character is Thomas Jane.
Yes,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
He's a little bit of like the everyman like
Hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one of my big complaints, just to circle back to Thomas Jane, being a movie painter, which I do hate, but also I feel like when movies do that main character kind of trope well, especially when this movie has such a good ending, and he is the person who suffers from the ending, besides you, the audience. Like, he's the person who has to live with it.
Yeah.
They have there's the classic thing of this person is overlooked because of or disliked because of something, but that actual thing is what makes them the most able to it's like the nerd, but the nerd actually is the only one who's reading all the science books or whatever.
Yeah.
That's something like that. But if he has a flaw, it has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
It's that he should have brought the painting down.
It's that he
Actually-
should have brought the- and that really comes back to
I
the point.
disagree, and it only came to me now. This did not
Okay,
Oh.
occur to
so
me
from this
before.
conversation.
Yes,
So I'll
which
take credit.
is which is that his seeming strength, I guess it's the reverse. It's what seems like his strength is actually his weakness. The reason everybody starts to look to him and he becomes one of the two sort of de facto leaders is that he's decisive and action oriented, and that's what leads him to
No,
kill everybody prematurely.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
Totally. I think that's a
Okay.
great analysis. But why is he a movie painter?
I
that's
see,
not,
I see,
that only
okay.
happens once the problem starts happening, but it's not like we meet this person who in his status quo maybe has some
Right.
flaw in his life that then the movie is like, oh, is this movie going to cure this? No, it's actually going to exacerbate it
Right.
and hoist him on his own petard. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
but instead it's like his flaws. He doesn't bring the painting down to the basement. And what is the
Yeah.
painting of? Unclear.
I also wrote down Clint Eastwood, and then I looked it up. And I was like, oh, I guess
Stephen
not.
made a very funny point that he makes in the movie when he's complaining. He's like, "Oh, they'll probably get somebody to do some bad Photoshop job," and then it's like, "Ah, the aliens, the bad
Horrible
Photoshop
CGI.
job."
Yeah. It's true. I really loved it, though.
Good.
It had problems, but I was like, this is a good,
Yeah.
memorable movie that I
Yes.
will think about.
Yes.
Yes.
I can appreciate it, but it wasn't fun.
It's not a fun
I
movie.
like fun
Yes.
horror movies.
I can
just-
appreciate it. Raves Jessica. Wow, 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 wow.
Yes.
I thought there were moments actually that were really fun in the first half.
The aliens are also kind of fun.
They are.
The little creatures before they start.
They're cool. I mean, they're
Yeah.
cool
Cool.
aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, I did feel bad for there are moments where they're on fire or being shot at, and they look just like sweet bats.
Yeah.
And then
I did
like
not have
them.
the same moments.
They're
I don't like
just
spiders,
bats.
so I was like, kill it.
The flying ones, not the spiders.
Oh, okay.
Remember, they're he flies into the grocery store.
Yeah, it's clumsy.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's like falling, and then
It's
making,
relatable. It's like a rom com. It's running into things.
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Right.
I'm clumsy. I would be the
You
bat.
were the guy.
The bat on fire.
Oh, or would you be the guy who accidentally lit himself on fire?
Who lit himself on fire?
Joe.
Which one is Joe?
Joe is the one who they have to go to the pharmacy to get medicine for because he lit himself on fire.
Wait, he lit himself on fire?
Yeah, because they're trying to light the mops. And he
Oh.
lights them up, and then he trips over the
Oh,
canister
right.
of all the thing, and then it's like, psh,
Right.
and then
that's
Joe
right.
is on fire.
Oh, right.
That's right.
I'm Joe! He screams.
Yes. Right.
So you know their names.
Yes.
Yeah, I relate to the clumsiness.
Mm-hmm,
But I'm sticking with the suicide. That's
Oh,
who I
gee.
am.
That's good. Yes. I
So is
respect
the ending
that.
of this movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
well-
Wow. Well, not exactly
Yeah,
suicide.
not quite. Like a murder. I mean, mercy.
Yeah. Mercy kill.
Yeah, mercy homicide.
Mercy homicide.
There you go.
Do you think that Thomas Jane, because kind of like the awfulness is, and then he has to be alive with this.
Right.
Right.
He could just go and kill himself.
Go find one more boat,
Yeah.
buddy.
Just stand right in front of that flamethrower.
Do you think he will?
Well, that's the
Maybe
next
he'll
film that we're
end up
pitching in
with the
Mist
girl
first.
and the
Yeah.
two kids.
Maybe he'll wind up being a dad to
Hey,
the
I just
two
wanted
kids.
to apologize for before. Mind if I become the surrogate dad?
What are you doing later? Can you hear what was that? Can your small daughter watch your other small child? Because that was such a weird line where she's like,
but she's like, I said I'd only be gone for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah,
still,
I
very
know.
young kids.
I know.
Everyone was judging her parenting in
She
that
had a cool
moment.
haircut too.
Yes, it is cool.
Same haircut in The Walking Dead, guys.
Should
that
I
true?
do that?
Yeah.
Is that just
She always
her?
has
Thinking
short
about
hair.
doing
I've
it.
been trying to get Ariel. I don't actually want her to, but I actually think she might look really cool with the buzz
Yeah, I
cut.
bet she would.
Yeah, but I, it's a long road back to a long head of hair.
That's true. We're gonna have you and Ariel on probably for hopefully like a Valentine's
Oh my
Day
god!
one.
Oh right, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Because what happened was when Avital first texted me and Stephen what are our favorite horror movies, I said to Ariel, Avital just asked me this, and my wife loves horror movies. In the way that Steve and I at the beginning of this were saying we don't so much. Like she will see any horror movie with all just like any schlocky whatever. And she was like, I
loves
want to
them.
send Avital a list. And I was like, do your thing, girl.
Yeah, I got like a long list from her.
Yeah.
I
So
want
fun
to
to have
see.
you both. I
Yes.
guess you could come if you wanted. Oh, you have a girlfriend now too.
I do, but
And she's a director.
she is.
So maybe good for her.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing
Me
some
and Amir
couple
on this
episodes in
mic,
theory.
you and Brad on that mic, you and Ariel on
I don't
one
know if we
mic.
can do
I
all
don't
of
know.
that.
It'd
That
be
sounds like
interesting.
so much.
It would be a lot. It's just one like a consistent
yeah.
hum.
Monotone.
We want to tell people to like rate and review and subscribe, but you guys are writers. You want to tell them, like, give them your pitch for why they should give us positive reviews?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's
absolutely,
really
yes.
hard to think of some good reasons for you guys.
Oh no.
No, I think it's first of all, if you've made it to the point where you're listening to this,
Yeah.
then clearly you value what you are getting out of
Yes.
this podcast.
That's a good pitch.
And also, it's really hard to put on a podcast, even though it seems like, oh, you just turn on a mic. Someone
They
has
have to turn on
edit.
4
They have to turn
mics.
on 4. No, but this isn't in someone's house. This isn't a different place where you have to come down. And it's a lot of work. And then someone has to edit it. And it's hard, you guys.
What you guys can't tell is that the
Yeah.
lights in this and all the electricity in this room only work because Avital and Jessica are on 2 bicycles that are powering this. And so
That's why I'm always out of breath.
that's why they're always out of breath. That's why they're not nailing the hosting. They're so out of-
Yes, we can all admit that. That's not the strong suit.
They
Hey,
don't have a lot
don't
of,
include that in the review, please.
they don't have a lot of breath. If there are any positive reviews that say that you guys are out of breath, we're gonna know it's from our.
That'd be
Yes.
amazing.
But what if there's like
Someone's
a
like,
4-star review that's like, ooh, it would have been 5, but they're not nailing the hosting thing.
I really want a
Sorry.
5-star review that's like, the hosting isn't that great, but when you consider that they're riding bikes the whole time, it really
Yeah,
deserves
right, right,
It
right.
evens
stars.
out.
Yeah, so Steven's right. If you're here, if you're still listening to even this,
I mean, it's crazy.
You should
What?
be- you
First
should
of
be
all,
trying to give
What are you
is
doing?
anyone going to get to this point?
My mother.
Is that true?
Well,
Yeah.
so
Oh
here's-
yeah, my mom listens to all of them.
What's your mom's name?
Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Make sure you subscribe, Patricia.
Of all
Give it
people, you're trying to support your daughter. You gotta subscribe.
5 stars.
You guys need to go on the Amazon Prime link to Snatchers and rate it 5 stars.
Oh, deal.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Deal.
There's one
Wait, can we
guy-
do that now?
Yes. There's one guy who writes. that-
Before
Yeah.
you say this really quickly, I just want to say that we have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's not a shitty movie.
Yeah,
That's
it's a good
amazing.
movie. So
Wait, how do you even have a run? I thought people can't see it yet. I'm
But
so
it's reviewers.
It's from the reviews
Yeah.
from South
we
by.
yeah, because there's also at
Amazing.
South by.
It's only 14 reviews, but all
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Variety,
Hell
Hollywood
yeah.
Reporter,
Ars Technica.
Ars Technica.
My favorite is the Amazons where it's like 5 stars and then it's like, this movie arrived on time.
Okay. Well,
And you're reviewing Amazon, not the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
this kind of speaks to what this. So on Amazon, there was one review, and it was 1 star.
The movie just got posted on Amazon because it just got like Warner Brothers just released that it's
announced.
coming out.
Yeah.
Just announced that it's
It's coming out on January 7th. And the review, 1 star, and it said the subject was junk movie. And then
The
con-
subject was worst movie.
worst movie. And then the content was junk movie. And we were like, all right, we got to see what this is about. So we clicked on this guy. And he has like a string of reviews of he like sees a bunch of horror movies. And they're all worst movie, junk movie.
We had that
Junk
for this
movie.
podcast.
Yeah.
We
Junk.
have one bad review.
No, but this
and
is the same language even.
But when
Worst
I
movie,
clicked
junk
on
movie.
it,
What's
it
the
was
guy's
all
name?
the same.
What's the guy's name?
He had different names for every review,
it's
but
this
when you
motherf-
click on it on your computer, it'll bring up all of their reviews. And they were all like 1 star, and they were all very similar. In ours, it was really mean, and it was like, and especially Jessica's bad.
No, Jessica, I think you're especially good.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Patricia, I think Avital's especially good. It's just very confusing.
Thank you.
But I was reading it. I was like, okay, fair enough. Bad review. What? Why am I especially?
That's hurtful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hurtful.
They probably see themselves in you. It's pieces of you like Jules.
Yes, I mean
I
that's
mean, here
always
we're
true.
all naked.
But we feel your pain with that one negative review.
Yeah, so then
It was
I-
leaving everyone negative
Yeah.
But we'll
reviews.
leave you 5 stars and that'll
Please do.
counteract
So I
it.
got on my wife's Amazon and left a 5-star review and was like, I saw this at South by, so now we have a 3-star review.
Bump it up. Yeah.
You guys could do it on this podcast.
Yeah,
We
we could do
could.
an episode.
But not with us.
No, we'd have to do it
Okay.
with the people
And
that are
I
in
would
it.
want you guys to be so honest. Like I would love to hear like, you know, probably didn't.
I'll say this. I think if in your opinion the episode does well enough, if you're happy with the episode, then we'll come back to talk about Snatchers.
Oh, cool.
Can you imagine
But
that
I
we
want
never
someone
call?
else to-
Yes. Well, now that's why I was like, now I'm gonna be second guessing it.
I want us to not come. I want just to listen to the Snatchers episode, and
I would love that.
because I want people.
But then
to be
who's
talking-
going to talk? But then we're forcing other people to talk about our movie.
Or
okay.
like someone who's pregnant would be fun.
I
Yeah.
think that's a very, very smart
Yes.
idea.
And do you guys have a social media or something
yeah.
you want people?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really on social media, unfortunately, for the primary reason that my dad's on social media.
I am on social media.
Do you want people to find you or no?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Twitter, Instagram?
They're both Steven
MySpace?
at Steven Cedars.
Cool.
So with PH.
I still do have a Twitter. I'm off Instagram and Facebook, but I do have a Twitter, and it's at Lord Fartsack.
Is that true?
That's true.
Oh, my goodness.
So if you want to follow me, that's where you would go. It'd be at Lord Fartsack, and you can read some jokes I wrote 7 years ago.
I'm going to follow you because I don't.
And that's Benji saying, "Catch ya after the credits."
That's
a
good.
catchphrase?
I'm so sorry to you, listeners, for having to.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for making it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Love you,
Merry
Patricia.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
And for all those Christ worshippers on Christmas,
Sorry.
Marcia Gay Harden was right.
She was right. God is unmerciful and bloodthirsty. Sweet dreams.